Hey, Star. Hey, Star fam. How are we doing? Thank you all so much for joining me. I apologize because I thought I put up a reminder for this way earlier in the day, and I did not realize until I was like sitting down eating dinner that I never posted. I never posted a reminder, and I'm so sorry about that. I also want to let you guys know that we are going to do a Housewives live. Here's the thing, I haven't caught up. I have one more episode of Miami, and as soon as I watch that, we will do a live about that because Miami has been given. Now, one thing, the season got a little wonky for me with Miami because of how Gertie was being treated, but the reunion was hilarious. So we have got to talk about the reunion, and then I think we'll just talk about Potomac either on Sunday or Monday. But that's what's happening here at NikkiStar TV. Thank you for joining me on your Friday. If you are out of the country, I know it's probably hella late or hella early for you. So thank you so much for joining me as well. But welcome to a cozy Friday in. Now let's get into Love is Blind. Hi guys, I am NikkiStar TV. I do comedic reviews of your favorite reality TV shows. We're going to get into scripted at some point. My lives normally go for about 2 hours. Sometimes we're having a good time. It will be 4. Just know that my review is just 30 minutes. A bit more if I'm talking about more than one episode, but normally I spend about 30 minutes talking about the show, and then I hop into the comments and I chat with the Star family for however long I desire to, or we desire to. So if you are new here, just know that. Also, if you are watching this on a replay, there are description timestamps in the description box. So if you want to just watch the review and you're watching a replay, please check the description box of my channel of this review, and you will see when the review actually starts. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much for giving me a view, a follow, a like, and a share. Let's get into it. Thank you for being here. I need this to be over. I can't believe we still have 2 more episodes. I need it to be over. I know we've had bad Love is Blind seasons. This is quite literally, in my opinion, the worst. It is the worst season we have ever had, which explains why so many engagements felt rushed, because they knew that it was a throwaway season. They knew, like, I cannot believe that anybody is making it to the altar at this point. There has been so little care for these relationships. And it's just giving at this point. Love is Blind is just a space for influencers or people who are trying to, people in their mid to late 30s and early 30s who are just like, My life is going nowhere. Let me try to be a late term influencer. And I feel like that is what this place is just going to be a breeding ground for, because I'm seeing interviews with these people and everybody is just media trained, media ready, ready to talk about their relationships falling apart, ready to drag the next person. And I'm just like, you are too ready for this moment for you to not have been prepared for this moment. So something just feels very off about this season. And I think it's because the Love is Blind bubble has burst. It's not, we'll never get Lauren and Cameron again. Brett and Tiffany was a blessing. I don't know if there's any other couples that got married. I'm thinking of two. I'm thinking of two. I think it, and the one that I'm thinking of now is the African guy that married that white girl. But we all thought that he was a terrible person. I forget his name, but we all thought that he was a terrible person until we saw him like outside of the show. And he's actually really cool. And I actually really like him. I hated him on the show, but I actually really do like him on outside of the show. But I pretty much feel like that's it. And I just don't think we're going to get any more great couples again, because casting is now just casting people who want to be famous. And I also think this season is not working because of the time that we are in. I think the time of influencer is over. And influencer in a way where people who are just trying, people who just want to be a billboard, right? People who just want to be popular. I feel like that time is over and people are now just desperately looking for authenticity, realness, right? I think if we had real couples on here, real people who really wanted this, fall in love and or fall in and out of love, we probably would be a bit more invested in this season. But because this season came at a time where we are all just craving community, joy, love, like it's not feeding the audience in the way that the audience needs to be fed. This is an untimely season. Unfortunately, it came at a time where it's not needed and it can't find its footing. That is why it's so bad. And that's what's going to happen to a lot of TV shows, a lot of reality TV shows. If they do not get with the program and start giving people love stories and start getting people hope and joy, they are going to lose their audience because they are not understanding the time that the majority of Americans are in right now. And I think that this is why Love is Blind did not work, because we needed a healthy couple on here. We needed two people who were looking for love in a lifetime commitment, a long-term commitment, and found each other. And we watched their process. We did not get that on this season. We got people who should have never been here in the first place. Everybody should have been on the therapist couch. They should not have been on the show trying to be a husband or a wife. A total miscast of a season. Let's get into episode 10. Love is blind and it'll take over your mind. Let's talk about the MAGAs. Andy needs to stay off the liquor. I'm telling you, I'm thinking back to this whole season. I don't know when we have seen Andy sober. Annie is drunk in every scene. I'm not laughing at her being drunk in every scene, but I'm just laughing at the fact that you thought that Nick was going to stay. You are drunk in every scene, girl. No matter the time of day, she is always 2 sheets to the wind. It could be 8 a.m., 8 p.m. Annie is drunk. And she's always the next day explaining that she had too many drinks while she's drunk again. Nick wasn't staying for that. That trust fund baby could not fully acclimate this lady into his life. Even if she was a possible beard, it just would not have worked out because she's coming to this marriage with so many problems. So in this episode, we see Annie and Nick break up. It's not funny, but it's just hilarious because Nick is always trying to have a serious conversation with Annie, but she's just like,
yeah. You know what? I love you. Like, I want to be with nobody else but you. Like, really.
And he's always trying to have like a conversation. So he's trying to profess his love for her, but she's drunk. And here's the thing, I'm gonna say the same thing to you, Nick, that I said to Madison. You can't have a serious conversation with a drunk person. It's not going to happen. You are always going to get annoyed because the drunk person is not in their right mind. So you trying to have a serious conversation with this woman whose eyes are like this and she's like,
I don't, yeah.
You're not going to be able to like get the conversation that you want out of her because she's clearly loaded. Like it's not going to happen. And this conversation was really just a mirror to this conversation that Madison and Joe had in Mexico. Like she's trying to really be serious about the relationship and how much she loves and cares for him. And he's drunk. And she's thinking the way that he is responding to her is disrespectful and dismissive. But I'm just like, girl, he's not in his right mind. And I'm saying the same thing to Nick. I'm like, you can clearly see her face is bloodshot red. Her lashes are hanging low, like just they're about to fall off. She can't keep her head straight. Why are you talking about your relationship with her? Like, why are you talking about your relationship? You know, I'm just going to finish up with Annie and Nick and just go over. I'm gonna just go back to the other couples. But let me just finish up with Annie and Nick. So anyway, in this episode, Nick just tells Annie that he's done. He's just like, he cannot do this anymore. He cannot see his life with her because he's just like, every time I do something, you're like chastising me. You're not happy with the things that I do. I'm constantly having to profess my love to you, and it's just not enough. And I'm saying, I don't think from what I've seen, I don't think that is true. I think that Nick is just constantly trying to have serious, lifelong conversations with someone that's constantly drunk. And I think I will give it to Nick, right? Political views aside, I will give it to him where I think that he was being respectful to Annie by making his issues with her and why he cannot stay in this relationship about some superficial things that never really mattered. I don't think that he was leaving Annie or not pursuing this marriage because Annie was constantly like checking him or not making him feel like he was doing anything right. I think he was leaving this marriage because he realized that, no shade, he was about to marry a drunk. And here's the thing. I told you, this is a typical MAGA trad wife. This is the life, right? So he's seeing her already at a place where she's supposed to be in 20 years. Like this form for Annie is too early for Nick, right? You are supposed to be the drunken, pill popping Christian mom of 6 kids later in life. Like this is supposed to be you later in life. Right now, you're supposed to be a real staunch Christian, popping out kid after kid after kid, writing Bible quotes on Facebook, attending MAGA rallies, calling Charlie Kirk the second coming of Christ. You are not yet supposed to fall off into drunkenness and pill popping until later in life when you realize that you were sold a lie, right? When you realize what is really happening on them skiing trips, when you realize that you gave up everything to be a stay-at-home mom and a beard, like that's when you're supposed to start popping them pills and drinking. That's when you're supposed to get your DWIs. Like, not now. This form is too early. Nick is just like, we at least got 20 years of fake Christian bliss before you become this person. So instead of just saying, I don't want to marry a drunk, he's just like, oh, you're just not nice to me. Smooth. I will give him that, because we all could see why he was leaving. He was sitting there staring at her, telling her that he wants to leave. And he's just like, I can't go through with the process where I'm at right now. I just know that I will not be able to say yes at the altar. and marry you. So instead of wasting your time, I'm going to leave and I'm going to end this. You know what Annie said?
No. No, you're not. You're saying.
He looked at her. He was just like, no, I'm leaving.
She's like, no, Nick. No. You're not even trying. No, sit down.
Sit down. Like she wouldn't even let that man get up. And he was just like, you cannot tell me what to do. She's like, no, try. And then the one thing that she did is something that Madison did as well. And it hurt me. She was trying to sell herself to him, right? She was trying to like, let him know how great they could be together and beg this man to stay. But his mind was made up. Like he was just like, I'm not doing this. This is not for me. I am leaving. And finally, when she realized that it was done and that there was no convincing him to stay, like she tried to be stern and say, no, sit down, you're staying. You're not going to let this, you're not going to break us up. We're good together. We're great for each other. No. And when that didn't work, she begged him. She begged him to stay. She begged him to work it out. And when she realized it was done, she just broke down crying in tears. And I think the next morning when she sobers up, before you get a drink, Annie, I hope you thought about what happened there in that situation and why it ended the way it ended, because I know you are hella pissed that you walked away from that trust fund baby, or that trust fund baby walked away from you, because you were set. You were set. And I think he would have looked away if you had a little fun with, the ski boy. I don't know what they do up there in the mountains, but you were set. You just couldn't put down the liquor. You couldn't put down them Heinekens. My God, today. Or one of them Cosmopolitans. My God, today. You were set, girl. You were set. And now you're going to watch some other blonde live the life that could have been for you. Again, props to Nick for saying that he doesn't want to marry Annie because he's unhappy and not because she's a raging drunk. Props to you, because you could have been honest, and the audience would have been like, yeah, I can agree I can agree with that. I will say it was also a little concerning when she said that she molded her life for him. I said, it's been 3 weeks. What do you mean you molded your life for him? Like, how did in 3 weeks and you change your entire life over for a man? You were not going to keep that business. Now you're forcing. See, here's the thing. There are some women who are forced entrepreneurs, forced business owners who actually had very successful businesses, but they want to be trad wives. Like, they do not want to run a business. They just happen to do it to get some money and it became successful, but they actually don't want to do it. That's why a lot of them have very poor customer service skills, but unfortunately they're talented. So I don't know how talented Annie is. The white girls are saying her hair is a mess, so I don't know. But there are a lot of women like that who are waiting for a man to come in and just take over. That's why it's just like, I can't believe she was so talented. She could do all these things. Why did she let that go to be somebody's wife and mom? And I'm not saying that being a wife and a mom, or, a stay-at-home mom, or a kept woman is a bad thing. A trad wife, absolutely. But I'm not saying that's a bad thing. And I'm not saying you giving up your dreams or your job or whatever to be that is bad. I am saying that there are women like Annie who were able to be very successful as a business owner and an entrepreneur, and that is not what they want to do. So when a man comes in and says, I'll take this burden off of you, because they see it as a burden, they will absolutely let it go. They will let their career go. They will let their business go. They will let their education go. I told y'all about somebody that I know who is one of the brightest minds that I have ever encountered, aside from me and my mama, who gave it all up to be a beard. Welcome to Christianity. But it's the saddest thing. It's the saddest thing, because that talent is going to die in that woman unless it's birthed through one of her children, unless she can cultivate one of her children to do that. But it breaks my heart every day, because I know what her talent could have given the world. And it's so sad because it's so many women like that, but she has been raised to think that. So she was raised to think that the talent within her, her bright mind was secondary or not even worthy to what a wife and a mom would be. So there are a lot of women like Annie, because I'm telling you, she would have gave that business up as soon as they signed them legal documents for them to be a married couple. She would have gave it up because he wasn't changing his life. He was not giving up that home. He was not going to move to the city. She was going to compromise her life for him because she does not see being financially independent, a successful business owner, is as important or as worthy as being a wife or a mom. So she would have given that up. She would have moved to that cabin in the woods and lived the life how he wanted it to live, because that is how a lot of women are raised. So she blew it for the future that she wanted. She absolutely blew it. I will say the breakup was just unserious. I gotta give it that. It didn't seem like there was any love or passion there. It just seemed like two siblings fighting over a TV remote. Like it just did not seem deep. It just, like, there were tears, but it was more like tears of I'm going to call mom. It wasn't like my heart is broken. It just was, it didn't seem like there was anything there with those two. So I was actually shocked how they got together, to be quite honest with you, but there was just not really anything there. So even this breakup was like, you know what I mean? Like you cannot be fully invested in this breakup because these two are not fully invested in this relationship. And the show was not fully invested in this relationship. So if the writers of the story aren't invested, the audience will never be. So bye-bye to the MAGAs. Never to see them again until the reunion. That's going to be interesting. I feel like everybody's going to hate each other at this reunion. And I feel like if we get a married couple, I don't think they're going to be together. I think this reunion is going to be awful. Awful. Ali, where is she? Where is the honeymooners? So the honeymooners, Ali and Anton, the honeymoon is over. The honeymoon is over. They are starting to annoy each other. Here's the thing. I think these two might actually make it. Here is why. Anton and his family knows that Ali is the hottest woman he's ever brought home and that he'll probably ever get. So they do not care how uncompatible these two are, how much she does not like him. Anton and his family is going to make this work. They are going, because the moment his mother saw Ali, she was like, oh, she's the one. You didn't sit down with this girl. You haven't even had a lot of conversations with her. You are letting your son know this is it. This is the best you're going to get. You better make it work. So even if he's not happy, he's still going to say, I do, because he is convinced and his community is convinced that he will not be able to do better. She knows that she can do better. So she knows that she can either walk away from this and work to get better, or she can make her life very comfortable by having a man that will do anything to please her, because him and his family knows she's the cream of the crop in looks, right? For what he can get. There are so many relationships like that. And she might just say, I do. I'm not concerned about him. I'm concerned about her saying no. But I'm just like, you know what? There's too many relationships like this for her to absolutely walk away. So we'll see. It's up in the air, but I think this might be the only marriage we get on this season. Ali doesn't like Patrick, who is Anton's bestie. She does not like Patrick because Patrick has control over Anton that she does not have. She has partial control, maybe his loins, right? Maybe his lust. She does not have the control that Patrick has, because Patrick has control, not over Anton, but there is a pull that he has in their platonic friend relationship. And that's always a very powerful relationship, especially since they have essentially grown up together, right? And she doesn't like that friendship because not only does she think that Patrick is a bad influence, she also thinks that Patrick has more influence than she does. So if Patrick is in the picture, she cannot fully control this relationship. So she is making it known that she does not like him, right? And she is making it known that she does not like the things that Anton does when he's with Patrick, because she was literally trying to pick a fight. It wasn't about the drinking. It was about Patrick. It was about Patrick. She did not like that Patrick was in the home and she did not know about it, because if Anton asked her if he could come over, she probably would have said no. She wants this relationship to end so that she can have full control. And right now there's a power struggle that Patrick doesn't even know that he's in with Anton and Ali, because it wasn't about his drinking. He doesn't give me a drunk. Annie is the drunk that y'all think Anton is, right? He does not give me drunk. Like, I don't even think we've seen him drink. But like, if he is a drunk, he's a functioning alkie, because it just, I don't understand where this, like, her all of a sudden concern is coming from of him drinking. I'm like, what? Is it a bad thing? Because he's been sober in every episode. Every episode. So it's just like, what are you trying to say? Oh, where's the tequila? It was half a bottle of tequila. Him and his friend finished it throughout the day. You were at work all day. They were probably in a home for hours drinking. Patrick probably drank more. Like, and I'm not a drinker, right? But even I'm like, you doing too much. Like, if the person wants to drink, let them have a drink. And I know there's not like a lot of liquor in these bottles anyway. Y'all being scammed by the liquor companies. So I just don't think that it's an issue. I think her issue is Patrick. Had he been like, oh, some of the guys from the show came over and we drank, she would not have cared, because they don't have influence like Patrick does. It is because his bestie came over, hung out, and she didn't know, that bothered her, because she does not have the control that Patrick has. And as long as Patrick's in his life, she cannot run him. And that's the only way she's going to stay in this relationship. If she can run him, because she can make him do what she wants him to do to give her the life that she desires. Or she can either put in work and go find the man that can financially provide the life that she wants. But it might just seem easier to control a guy because the rich guy can get somebody else. Anton will worship you because he doesn't believe you can get another Ali. She knows that. She knows that. He's not alcoholic. She just don't like Patrick. But is he doing too much drinking? Let me know. I don't see it. Again, I'm not a drinker. Azima would be alcoholic to me. So, and maybe I'm not seeing what y'all seeing, but I do not see it. Sparkle meets Jordan's parents. You can always tell by the mom. The mom, here's the thing. What is her name? Mama Kelsey, right? The Kelsey brothers, their mom, that's what Jordan's mom give me, right? Because she knows that Megan is not his type. But she knows that Megan's a good catch. So she knew that her son got somebody, not necessarily what he want, but he got a good catch, and he can't F this up, because the dad was sold. Jordan's dad was crying and everything, and mom was like, oh, okay. And normally it's the mom, because that's the one you have to impress, because that's her baby. Them boy moms, yikes, right? So you got to impress that one. And she was just very like monotone, not really, oh, okay, sure. And dad is over there crying. Mom, I don't think she's convinced, but I think she knows her son is dating up, marrying up. So she's just like, listen, I know it's not what he wants, but it's the best for this bloodline. You always got to watch the matriarch. You always got to watch the matriarch. That is the one, child. That is the one. She wasn't moved by nothing, but she knew what this situation was. She knew that her son's life was going to change with this woman. So she just said, okay, of course you have our blessing. Not a tear was shed, not an emotion was shed. She know. She knows. And that's normally what they do. Like, she would have picked Megan too, right? If Jordan wouldn't have. She would have picked him. She would have like, this is it. This is what we're going to do. Make it happen. Let's move on to the tisms. So Calabria and Edmund, they just keep on fighting. They just keep on fighting. It's just not working out. She realizes that she's mothering him at this point, and she's exhausted. She's exhausted with mothering them because apparently they got into an argument, and she doesn't like the fact that he's very dismissive to her off camera, but then on camera, he's bringing her flowers, apologizing her to immediately telling her how much he loves her. And she's just like, that is not who you are. So I am very sick of it. And they are at like this, hold on, make sure I'm not bleeding through my notes. Yeah, so they're at like this really nice mountainous place, and the view was beautiful, and they sit down to take in a view, and Calabria is just like, I don't like how you act. She was just like, now we're on the snowmobiles and you're calling me baby and all this stuff, but off camera you're like, I'm not going to apologize, I didn't do anything wrong, I'm not going to speak to you, and we're not going to fix it. Cameras roll, and all of a sudden you want to fix it and work it out. And Emma's just like, well, not going to apologize because I don't feel like I did anything wrong. And she's like, I'm tired of that. I'm tired of you laughing and not taking anything serious. I'm tired of you dismissing me and how I feel. I am tired. She's like, I'm tired of your childlike behavior. I'm like, there it is. You do not want to mother this guy. See, here's the thing with women, especially Black women. We constantly fall into the mammyisms, and we have to, you have to decolonize and decenter men every day. As a woman, as a Black woman, you got to de-mammy. You got to de-mammy every day because it is a flaw. It is our one and only flaw. And you have to do that because in the beginning of their relationship, she was fine. She was fine nursing him. She was fine being his mammy. And then as they start to get closer to the wedding, she realizes she wants a husband. That's not what you settled for. You did not settle for a husband. You settled for a child. And you knew that, right? But because you didn't de-mammy, now you stuck in a situation where you are now the head of household. You are now the man in that relationship. You have to make all of the decisions. You have to get things right. You have taken on the brunt of your life and his life, and you did not want that. You wanted to get with a partner who will take some of the burden that you experience as a Black woman, or take some weight off of your shoulders so you do not have to do everything. Now you've realized not only do you have to do everything, you got to do everything for you, and you got to do everything for him. Because if you won't fix it, it won't be fixed. Because you have to raise him. You have to raise him to be the partner that you desire. And you did not want that. You wanted him to come to this relationship already made. You didn't want to have to make him. And now you're realizing how much work you are going to have to put in. Now, I am very adamant about, especially because women do this a lot, you got to let him know what you want. You got to let him know what you desire. A lot of women, when we get into relationships, we want that man to be a psychiatrist, to be not a psychiatrist, a psychic. You want him to be a psychic. You want him to read your mind, but you're not saying anything. So if you're sitting up there and you're upset and you're having a moment, you want him to know what that moment is about. They're not bright. They're not. Men do not have the discernment that women have. He is not going to figure that out, unfortunately. And they don't have the discernment because they have not been raised or trained to have discernment, right? You have been raised and trained to look out for everything or to dot your P's and Q's. You know what I mean? To know, dot your I's and T's and P's and Q's. You know what I'm trying to say. You are the one who has been raised to be the seer, who has been raised to be the wisdom. Men are just raised to be the muscle. That's it. Which is why I keep on saying they shouldn't lead their muscle. Ugh. Anyway, so because of that, you were thinking they're like you. They have not been raised that way. Muscle don't have no sense. Muscle don't have no wisdom. Muscle got to be told where to go and what to do. Unfortunately, moms of boys, change it, please. Change it so the next generation of women do not have to do this much work. But because that's where we're at in this time, he does not know what's going on with you. And you want to sit there, be in a mood, not talk to him and ignore him and hope that he figures it out. You are dealing with a man who something is going on. He is not as aware as other men would be. So you ignoring him and not talking to him, he's probably used to that. Not only is something a little off, he has extreme trauma from his upbringing. So he's probably used to people not talking to him, ignoring him, acting like he doesn't exist. That's his norm. And you are like, something is wrong. Like, I'm visibly upset. Like, something is wrong and you need to fix it. That's not going to happen. So you now have to over communicate. All women, unfortunately, have to over communicate in a relationship. And you have to be like, hey, I got an issue and we need to fix it. Walking around, pouting, not saying nothing, giving a silent treatment. You're dealing with Edmund. He'll be okay with that. So that's what's happening. She's walking around, giving him the silent treatment, not talking to him, sleeping on a couch, not doing none of that stuff with him. And then when production comes and says, hey, we're going to film this, and Edmund shows up ready to film, you get pissed because you're just like, how the hell are you ready to film and I'm not talking to you? He don't get it. It's not clocking to him, girl. It's not. You do not see when you sit down and have a conversation with him, he shrinks down. He instantly becomes like an 8-year-old. Calabria, what's going on? Because now I'm mad at you. You should have been left. You should have been. Something is wrong there.
I'm sorry. No, I didn't mean it. No, stop.
Calabria. Come on. You brought your work home, mama. You got to clock out. You have got to clock out. So, Edmund tries to apologize again, but Calabria is just like, she's frustrated and she just doesn't feel like it. Later on, they are actually able to have a conversation and make up. And she's just like, I'm in it with you. I'm going to stay with you. And she really gave her, I'm going up this mountain to save my marriage speech with Edmund. What did she say? Hold on. Let me get her exact speech. What did she say to him? Because this was right after he was like,
can you say something nice? Please say something nice.
That poor baby. Do you see that? I had to grab the mammy because I was about to do it. No. Out. Mammy, out. You got to do. You saw that? You saw the devil is clever. Did you see that? I hope he gets the help he needs. We confuse it with compassion. He's an adult male. He got to work on that. Hold on. Let me get her speech. Hold on. Oh, you know what? It's the next episode. I'm not gonna get into it. We're gonna talk about it in the next episode. Let's move on. But I'm gonna get into that speech. But anyway, they are arguing on this mountain because she realizes she has made herself a mammy. What you gonna do? What you gonna do, child? Sometimes it be too late. Sometimes it bees too late. Joe, where the settlings? Joe meets Madison's family. Problem, it's an absolute problem because they love Joe, right? They are falling in love with Joe. They say he's so great. The family gives their blessing. They want this relationship to happen. They are putting in all the work. Two things could either be happening here. Either Madison is not telling her family everything that's going on with Joe, especially her mama, because her mama loves this guy and her mama thinks that this dude is the one. And I'm just like, either you are not telling your mom what's really happening in your relationship, or your family is so tired of you, they're ready for you to get married. That happens a lot. There are families who are tired of carrying another person who has become so emotionally and financially taxing. They cannot wait for another person to come in and remove that burden. I don't know if it's that, but I was so shocked that her family had no caution, was so happy, saw Joe's behavior and his body language and was just like, yeah, that's my son-in-law. She had to have been hyping him up and not telling them what was really going on in the relationship for her family to just be so sure that this was the one and had no caution with Joe. It was very, very weird. And I think that it's because they either didn't have all the information, or Madison just gets on their nerves. Because there was also a moment where Madison's family said that Madison is going to need someone to take care of her. And they were happy that Joe signed up for that. And Joe looked at them. It's not funny. Joe looked at them like, who, me? He was like, oh, I did not sign up to say. He looked like he wanted to run. And nobody picked up on that. His eyes was all over the place. He kept on looking at the door like he was looking for exits. And nobody picked up on his body language, especially when y'all said, I think it was the mom who was just like, Madison needs somebody to take care of her. His entire face changed. His body, he was like, and y'all didn't see that? She either gets on your nerves or she's lying to you about that relationship. And the sister, was the sister drunk? The sister, she scared him. Madison's sister scared him because why are y'all at an Olive Garden and she's screaming at the top of her lungs, Madison, Joe, I see it, love. He was terrified that whole dinner and nobody saw that boy was going to run. I saw it and I'm watching it on TV. Y'all didn't see it and y'all sitting right next to him? What is going on? The cast goes wedding dress shopping. The most uneventful for me as a watcher of Love is Blind, the most uneventful wedding dress shop ever. Calabria, stop it! You're lying, Calabria. I can't wait to marry my man in this. Oh, this is it. This is the dress that I'm going to say yes in. You are lying, Calabria. You're not saying yes. You're not saying, please stop it. The only person I believed was Megan Sparkles and Madison. Those are the only people I believed who were just really excited about the wedding dresses. Everybody else, Ollie was unfazed. She was looking at her mom. Her mom was doing all that crying. Oh, my baby. Oh, I'm going to lose my daughter. Allie was like, you're not losing me. Allie was just like, I'm going home with you. Don't you worry. But Calabria, the speech, if Calabria goes into acting, I won't be shocked. I won't be shocked. This is her hard launch into being Tyler Perry's lead actress. I see it. But everybody, the dresses were cute, but I was just like, I wasn't moved. I was not moved. At some point, Jordan, I know that you realize that your life is going to be you're just going to have a good life with her financially. It's getting weird. The way she talks about Luca, I'm uncomfortable. Luca's not your dad, Megan. This is so weird. He is not your dad. He is not, and this is not a sign from your father. The childhood diabetes is not a sign, mama. Oh my God. I just thought about the baby mom watching this show. I would have an issue. I would be like, now, Jordan. Anyway, but Megan is like, as they get closer and closer to the wedding, Megan becomes even more obsessive with Luca, and it is very uncomfortable. I know that Jordan is thankful to have the help, but he has to understand it's getting weird, and he really has to stay on top of that and check that. And I'm not saying keep Megan in her place, but you got to look out for that boy. She is getting very, very weird. Like it's getting to the point where I feel like if they break up, she's gonna ask for custody. Do not let her legally adopt that. Well, the mother, don't let oh my God, please do not let her legally adopt that boy. That's what happens with like working class people. Y'all let these rich people come in your lives and they just take over. And before you realize what's going on, they got your entire life. Set some boundaries with her, Jordan. You have to do it now because I think you're going to get comfortable with her money and overlook a lot of things concerning Luca. I just saw a note that I wrote about. Hold on. I do not believe her. I just saw a note that I wrote about Calabria when Vanessa came in. It was asking all the ladies about, how they feel about, their men and, about to be married. And I wrote that Calabria is lying through her teeth because Vanessa asked Calabria about like Edmund and like where they're at in a relationship. And she was just like, that's my baby. I'm ready to marry my baby. Girl! Stop that lying, Calabria. Stop that lying. Because let me tell you something. As a chaste woman, ain't no way a sister that has, experienced a Mandingo warrior is on her way engaged to that Mandingo. Ain't no way you have not enjoyed that disco stick. If that was really your future, you would have been on that thing for rounds. I'm not believing this, Calabria. I'm not believing it at all. You would have told him to pull up to your bumper, baby, with his long black limousine. You're lying, girl. You're lying. This is a hard launch into your acting career. I see you. We see each other. Get the bag, girl. Get the bag. Where is he at? I gagged at Edmund's friends. Gagged at Edmund's friends. I don't think, are these really, who is going to do the research? Are these people really Edmund's friends? Because I'm just like, I feel like there was a casting call and y'all needed people to act like Edmund's friends. Y'all got this random Desi woman and this random brother who is just like, yeah, we love, that's our guy. Yeah, that's our boy. Either they are his social workers or actors that was hired for their show. I do not believe that those are Edmund's friends. If they are, I need to know how they came together. And is this typical for Denver? Is this a typical Denver friendship? Let me know. Because I'm like, no way. Y'all his social workers or actors. It cannot be that. But anyway, they were there to help him go suit shopping. And he looked cute. That's one thing. Edmund, he can put on a fit. He can put on a fit. So let's get to the men and during their suit shopping. So all the guys get together, like all the ladies got together for the wedding dress shopping. The guys get together for suit shopping. Edmund and his friends, the actors or the social workers, they are there. They're helping him find a suit. Then we got Jordan and his friends. Jordan is locked in and he's like, this is actually happening. I'm not going back. I'm excited. I have no regrets. Then we get to Anton and his mom and his friend. And it just confirms for me that Ali is the baddest chick he's ever experienced, and his family and his friends is not going to let that go. His mom then had 2 conversations with Ali. I don't even think they were over 30 minutes. And she was just like, as soon as you get together, kids, she want to make sure that Ali's DNA intertwines within her bloodline. She's thinking about what the kid's going to look like. She's not even looking at her son, whose eyes are darting all over the place. Because he's like, Mom, help me. I'm not really happy, but everybody is telling me this is as good as I'm going to get. So he's like looking for a savior. And the mom's like, kids, children, we got to, as soon as you get with her, we got to get on it, Anton. Kids. That's all she's thinking about. Then you have his friend who started preaching. Anton's friend was like, you love Ali and Ali love you. Y'all got brought together. This will not be torn asunder. I was like, what is happening? Why did the friend start preaching? Why did you guys are it? It's going to happen. You're going to make it work. No way he can say no to this woman. Everybody in his life is rooting for this. They are letting him know you're not going to get better. This is your settling. And what a damn good settling it is. Poor guy. Poor guy. Where is Patrick? See, that's why they don't like Patrick. We need Patrick to come save his boy. We need Patrick to come save his friend. Because I'm surprised that Patrick wasn't there. Who was this? Who was this dude? Where did this preacher come from? OMG. So then we get to Joe and his friends. Joe's friends are hyped for him. They're hyping him up. Joe is uncomfortable. Joe's uncomfortable. And nobody's noticing it. Is that the story of his life? He is completely uncomfortable with how everybody is talking about this whole process. Even when he's talking to Nick. Nick is just like, are you ready? And Joe's like, you know. Like he is not himself. He is not himself. So then the lady who worked at the suit shop is trying to like help him choose a color. And he's like, yeah, whatever color. It's all right. Blue, I don't know. And his friends are like, Joe, like, come on. He's like, enough. Chill. Like he is so defensive. And like as he's putting on his tie, he's just like, he freezes and then just looks at himself in the mirror. Then we cut to his confessional. And he's just like, I just have a lot of questions, like this is a lot. This is, I can't understand what nobody else is having any apprehensions about this. And then the next thing we see Joe walking to his truck and production in front of his truck. And his friends were like, is he leaving? They were like, I think he's leaving. And that is where episode 10 ends. Let's open up with episode 11. We open up, they got straight to the point. We open up with Joe leaving Madison. We see Madison hanging over her luggage, crying on the phone with her mom. And she's like, Joe just broke up with me. He just broke up with me. She's devastated. You know who isn't devastated? Joe. Joe is absolutely happy to go. I feel like he was playing free in the background while he was packing. I think that he was packing his stuff and he said, ain't no feeling like being free when your mind's made up. Like Joe was ready to go, hand at the door. And Madison is like, she's crying and wanting him to like come to her and tell her why. And she's just like, I can't believe you're doing this to me. Like, what is it? Like, I wanted to do this with you. And Joe was just like, this was not it for me. Like this, I could not do it. And I give props to him because he let her know. He said, if I would have married you, I would have been miserable. Yikes. Whew. And Madison is just so heartbroken. I also feel like when we get to the reunion, these two are going to have the most. Like I feel like she's going to go after him the most because Joe, we got to be honest, you played in her face. You didn't like her from the moment you saw her. Yet you still continued to lie to her and make her believe that you wanted to marry her while sleeping with her, while telling her you loved her, and none of that was true. So I feel like out of every woman on that show, she is going to have the most heat for Joe. She tried to make it work, just like Annie was begging Nick. She was begging him to stay with her, begging him to work it out and see it through. And it was just heartbreaking because he didn't care. She's like begging this man, crying, like, come on, how do you know it won't work? And he's like, this isn't for me. I can't do this. I know. I just know in my heart that this is just not what I want. And I cannot believe that we have two women on this show begging men to stay with them. Reality TV under this administration is going to be so diminishing to women. It's like, I guarantee you, if our president was that biracial light skin, I know biracial light skin is not the same, guys. Come on. This season will look so different. This season will look so different. But like I said, everything is political. And because that side won, this is the junk that we are going to get. And we have this woman begging this man that has never wanted her to stay with her just so she could get married. And she's just like, so she's sitting down on the couch crying by herself, and Joe is packing up, like about to leave. And she's just like, you see me crying, you're not even going to comfort me. And I'm like, Madison, he's never been that guy. You've been crying this entire time. He's never comforted you. And she's like, you're not even trying to make me feel better. He does not like you. He does not care for you. So he's not going to do those things to make you feel better. And this is the problem with being marriage minded. You should never be marriage minded. You should be relationship minded, because you have to realize that's the thing. That's why women, what I was trying to tell y'all last live, women are sold this dream about the wedding, because the wedding, a lot of women do not realize, is the funeral for a lot of women. And the women that I'm talking about are women like Madison, because she's marriage minded. Her big thing is getting married to whoever, right? So that, because that was sold to her as a badge of honor, marriage and children. Anything else that she does in her life, she's been told, is worthless if she's not married and does not have children. That is supposed to be the best thing that happens for her. And so many women who bought into that lie are miserable. That's how you get a Karen. That's how you get a Karen. So she went on this show, marriage minded, overlooked everything because she just wanted to be married. This is literally a woman that just wanted to be married. He gave her nothing to make her believe that he would be a good partner. That's what you have to look at. You're looking at, oh, husband, provider, protector, partner. Is this somebody you're going to want to wake up to every day? Is this somebody you're going to want to create life with and raise a human being with? Is this somebody you're going to like in a few weeks? Is this somebody whose breath you can stand? Is this somebody who you can have a conversation with for the rest of your life? Is this somebody you can live in close proximity to, close quarters with for the rest of your life? If you are not asking those questions, you are going to be 15 years deep into the marriage and getting sick when you hear his footsteps down the hallway because you hate that man. And the feeling will be mutual. Stop being marriage minded, be relationship minded, and be selfish in that decision. You have to make sure you will like this person enough to work on that relationship because you are making a lifelong commitment. Whether it lasts or not, you are going to tie yourself to this man legally. It could either be a great contract or the worst 360 deal you signed in your life. And you're lucky if fruit doesn't come from that relationship. This is the problem with being marriage minded. You get a Joe because you're so focused on the marriage. You're not focused on a man. You're not focused on you. She was unfulfilled. I'm telling you, she was lying to the woman when she was talking about how great the sex is. You're not going to have great sex with a man that can't stand your body. He's not doing what he needs to do to get you to where you need to go, but he sure is making sure that you are doing everything that he needs. And he's probably got you bent over and turned around half the damn time. That's not a sign to you. He never wants to do missionary. Clock into that discernment. Y'all shut that off when y'all get with these men. Then y'all get your feelings hurt when it don't work out. And you sitting back looking at the pictures, looking at the videos. Oh my God, he was always ugly. Oh my God, he always treated me like garbage. Yeah, because you were marriage minded. Get the marriage minded out of you and get some damn sense. End up like Madison. Thank God she's 26 and he said no. Could you imagine if he said yes? Ay, ay, ay. Ay, ay, ay. You would have lost the rest of your youth to Joe, who was a cannoli away. Anyway, Joe in his confessional was brutal. He was just like, I would never be happy with her. And I could never make that decision. Listen, he was brutal, but he was honest for him. Finally honest. Been lying this entire time. And now, a week before the wedding, you want to be honest with that woman. After you've been balls deep inside her. Evil. Evil. And then he ends his confessionals with saying she's not my person. So he gets up his things and he leaves and he goes to hug Madison like he's hugging, a stranger. Because he tries to give her a side hug. She pulls him in and she starts telling him that she's so happy that she met him and that she's so happy that she went through the process with him and that she hopes that they can still be friends. I think she already regrets saying that. And I think her feelings about him are going to be completely different come the reunion because she has not allowed herself to see who he really is. And she has made him somebody in her mind that he is absolutely not. And now that the wool has been pulled from her eyes, I think she can finally see clearly now that the rain is gone. And I think she's just going to have it's going to be a totally different Madison at that reunion. I hope you did not lose weight. Because who was that appeasing? I hope you got thicker. I really, really, really do. And I felt bad for her. She wasn't ready to go. She wasn't ready to end the process, but Joe was out of there. And as soon as Madison let go of him, he ran out of there. He could not wait for that to end. So then the Tisms, they get into another argument. And this is where we get Calabria's speech. Because again, she is just tired of Edmund because they never really settled their issue on the mountain. Edmund walks in with flowers and he's just like, I'm sorry. Babe, you right. I ain't mean to hurt you. And Calabria is just like, this is the problem. Like, this is the problem. Like, I constantly have to let you know how much you hurt me in order for us to get anywhere. And I'm constantly having to fix everything. And just, she's tired of mothering him. She's tired. But the thing is, that's how you started off the relationship. So now you look crazy because now y'all about to get married and you want to change up the relationship. But this Calabria, the Lord just dropped it back into my spirit. This is how you set the relationship up. Remember, you told him that you would do everything for your man. Remember, you told him that you would make all these sacrifices to make your man happy. That's what you told him. That's why he locked in on you, because you basically told him that you would be a mammy to your man. So then he gets into the relationship with the mammy, and all of a sudden you don't want to be the mammy. You want to be a Landria. You want to be put up on a pedestal and cared for by your man and protected. That's not the relationship you set up with him. That's not the woman you introduced to him. You introduced him to a totally different woman. Now you want to get mad because you want to switch up the game and become a different person. That's not who he got engaged to. So now you're getting mad at him because he is not, he doesn't want to court or pursue this new woman. That's not fair to him. You sold him a lie. Now you got to rectify that. That's why you're getting tired of mothering, because you are now having to fix him and make him into what you want, where you made yourself into something that would be desirable to a man like that. Saying those kind of things, you're going to get men like Edmund, because he was looking to be cared for. You see, his mother, he didn't have that relationship. So he's looking to be mothered. He wants a woman to mother him because that's something he never experienced. And he is desiring that. And you told him you would be that. Now that you're in it, now all of a sudden you don't like this, how this relationship is going. That's not fair to Edmund. Because he got engaged to a woman and he got engaged to a mammy. Now you want to be all the ladies, independent. And you want him to adjust to that. That's not fair to him. You sold him a lie. Now you got to deal with it. I will say this was the most intense argument that they had. Like, they've had some little tiffs, but this one was really intense. But they were able to work it out because Edmund apologizes and she immediately accepts it. And then she gives her, I'm going up to the mountain to save my marriage speech. And she leans in and she says, there was a moment on that mountain where I wanted to give it all up. And I wanted to walk away. And I didn't want to do this with you, Edmund. But you told me everything I needed to hear. And I'm going to sit beside you. I'm going to stay in it with you. I said, girl, you, this is your heart. I'm telling you, she probably has a whole resume on Tubi. Calabria, I'm not convinced. I am not convinced. I gave you everything. And I'm wondering if I have anything left to give. Get that Razzie, girl. Get that Razzie. Listen, you don't want to raise your husband, and I understand that. That's not the relationship you set up with him. That is not the woman you present to these men. You are going to get an Edmund if you present yourself the way you present yourself. You're going in telling him, I'll do 50-50. I'll take care of everything. If you can't take care of it, I got you. I'm going to be there for my man. My man don't got to do this for me. I want to make sure he has everything. I want to take care of him. Okay, so you got that. Now you see you don't like that. So maybe this experience showed you that that's not what you want to be. that you don't want to take care of your man. And maybe you needed this. Maybe that's what this is. Good for you. Good for you. But I gotta side with him because you sold him a lie. And now you want to redig. You can't do that, girl. Leave. Because he is who Edmund is the man that you went fishing for. Now you done caught it, you filleted it, seasoned it, bit into it, and it's just like, oh, I don't like the taste. You can't do that. You cannot do that. Well, at least you can, but you can't make him the problem when this is what you wanted or said you wanted. Ali's sister does not approve of this process and will not be at the wedding because she knows it's a waste of time. Her sister she doesn't want to be around this. She's just like, well, I'm wasting my time. Why are you going to get me on camera knowing good and well this is a scheme that Todd set up? So the sister's like, don't play with me. And we get a lot of family members on Love is Blind who are just like, I'm not doing this. I'm not going to waste my time because I know you and I know you're not going to do this. So I'm not going to give this show my image and embarrass myself for no money. Absolutely not. I'm Team Ali's sister. Her and her sister do not have beef. Her sister just does not feel like this is worthy of her time because she don't think that it's worthy of Ali's time. And that is fine. She thinks that Ali is either making a grave mistake or just wasting everybody's time. And I can understand where she is coming from. Let's get into the emotions. So the honeymoon is officially over with them at this point. She is asking for more from Jordan than Jordan can give. What does Jordan do where he's so tired? Because it sounded like he works in a call center. So Megan is just like, listen, Megan is starting to realize how many sacrifices she's making for this relationship. And she's just like, the least you can do is talk to me. And Jordan is just like, I don't want to talk. He's just like, I don't want to talk because I'm tired. And she's just like, that's not okay because I'm tired too. Like, we are still in a relationship and we have to talk. And he's just like, I'm tired. I'm working all day and I'm tired. And Megan's like, okay, I work too. I work hard. I'm tired as well. We have to figure something out. So again, they seem like they're all in, but I'm not sure because I think it's weighing down on her that she's going to be sacrificing a lot more than Jordan. And she has to realize if she wants to give that life up because she was telling him that, hey, I work really hard to provide the life that I want so I can travel and I can do all of these things. And Jordan is just like, well, I have a kid. I can't. And I want you to understand that if we merge together, that part of your life is going to have to be not in, but it's going to have to be heavily compromised because not only do we have a kid, we have a sick kid. He's just like, I can't take, he's just like traveling to Italy with a 5-year-old, especially a 5-year-old. That's a lot. And that's something that you have to take into account. And I don't think Megan did, because I think that Megan is on an emotional roller coaster. And I think Jordan is a great distraction right now for the loss of her father, and her family is not helping because they're mourning as well. And they're just happy that there's some kind of joy in their life, but they're not realizing that the joy is a distraction. It's not the best decision for Megan. And I think if she makes this decision, it's just going to cause her even more pain on top of the mourning that she's already dealing with the loss of her father. I also got to be honest, Jordan is tired because Jordan is settling. I feel like for the woman that he wants, I think that Jordan would have a lot of energy. I just think he doesn't have energy for Megan because he knows that I don't think that I don't think she's his dream girl. And that's no shade, right? A lot of men are married to women that are not their dream girls. A lot of women are married to men that is not their dream guy, right? But, a lot of relationships are settling for, okay, it's not this, but it's that, right? The thing is, you want this and that, and you want it to work together. And if you want the full package, then you're probably going to have to let this relationship go. Because a woman that he's excited for, he'll talk. He will talk and do and then some, right? But you don't excite him. And he excites you. That's the thing. Jordan is not excited by Megan, but Megan is excited by Jordan because Jordan is different from what he's dated, from what she has dated. She's dated the business guy with a lot of money. Now she's trying the working class job, the working class guy with essentially no money. That excites her because it's different, it's new. It's also a great distraction from the loss of her father. But the excitement is starting to wear off because she's realizing that there's going to be a lot of responsibilities that she's going to take on and a lot of restrictions that she's going to have in her life. And she does not know if she necessarily wants to do that. He has settled for her financial life because, one, he has a partner that is willing to help and take some of the load of parenting Luca off of him. Also, he is just going to be in a financially much better place being with her. So he's winning. He is marrying up. So he will settle for that than being with a woman that excites him. I think she knows that. I think she knows how a man responds to her when he really wants her or desires her or is excited about her. And she even said that. She said, I want to feel wanted. But it's sad to say, I don't think he wants her, but I think he knows this is the best decision for him and his child. Say no, Sparkles. Say no. Say no. I think she's also realizing she doesn't know him. She was caught up in a rapture of love, and now it's a week to the wedding, and she realizes she doesn't know this guy. And what she's starting to know about this guy, she doesn't necessarily like. But sometimes what happens is people get so far into the relationship or the engagement, and they don't feel like they can say no. Say no. Save yourself a whirlwind of problems and say no. That's all I have to say. What do you guys have to say? Let me get into the comments. We have over 300 comments. Thank you all so much for chatting. Give me a second. I'm going to try to get through everything. I will say I can see super chats faster. If you don't want to super chat, I'm going to be looking at my Venmo and my Cash App. Let me know. But I'm going to try to get through as many comments as I can. We also have over 200 people in the room. Please give your girl a thumbs up. And when this video is over, please hype it up. Here is why. Thumbing up or liking my video helps me grow in the YouTube algorithm. Also, sharing my video helps me grow in the YouTube algorithm. And hyping up my video, which is YouTube's new hype feature that only you guys can do. That just pushes me out to more people in the YouTube space. And that just helps your girl grow. And I absolutely appreciate you supporting me. So let's get into the comments. Painful. Happy Friday indeed, a cozy Friday, if you will. NC said, hey, Nikki, will you consider reviewing Married at First Sight again now that it's switching over to Peacock? There are going to be some older couples this season, like in their 50s and 60s, I believe. Absolutely. And now that I know if there's older couples, I'll review it with my mom. Absolutely. Yeah. They love their liquor on this show. Is that a Denver thing? Annette said Annie's always being drunk is probably why she thought, okay. All right. Eva said Annie's drunken insecurity is something to behold. He already told her on vacation that he didn't want to fight about this again. At least he stood his ground on that. Absolutely. Ali said Annie was a hot mess. She was giving Jessica vibes from season 1. Yeah. Yes. NC said, seeing Annie's drunk self beg to be this man's, okay. What's a hard watch? Girl, stand up. Hannah said, besides the alcohol, something is wrong with Annie's internal struggle. Well, listen, you don't reach the alcohol that much unless something's going on. Guys, we've never seen her sober. Maybe the pods. I think the pods was the only time we've seen her sober. As soon as she got out and her drinking could no longer be regulated, yikes. Yikes. Hey Danielle. Danielle said I couldn't manage to watch the rest of the episodes. Glad to hear how it turned out. Are you glad to hear that everything turned out poorly? E for Empathy said, happy Friday, and thank you for supporting Nikki by hitting the thumbs up. Thank you so much. Dahlia said, Nick won me over these last few episodes. If he wasn't phobic, I'd be Team Nick. Here's the thing. It's not just a phobia. I feel like his entire worldview and political view is demonic. But I think that also comes from the fact that I don't think Nick can be who he really wants to be. So there's a lot of self-hate there driving that boat, unfortunately. But he is still an adult that is making terrible decisions. So can't rock with him, even though I'm glad he got out. Looked him in his face and said no. And he was like, Nick was like, what do you mean? And she said, no, you're not leaving me. Girl. She was drunk. She wasn't making any sense. Drunk again. After apologizing for being drunk the night before. Girl. Dahlia said, Annie put on her Effie impression, and I'm telling you, I'm not going. You're the best man I've ever known. And Nick said, bye, girl. Annette said, conservative women start drinking as soon as their babies are able to have. Yeah. Like, she's too early. This form is too early. Ashley said, Annie in the breakup scene reminded me of the scene in Mean Girls when Gretchen reads her report about Julius Caesar. Eva Everly said that she was texting her friend about it while it was going down. And Nick was like, okay, well, I'm going to leave you to your phone. And she's like, it was such an unserious breakup. She's like texting her friend, and Nick's like, well, I'm just going to leave you, to your phone so you're in. And she was just like, Nick, no, Nick. This was a mess. Anything, because she was so incoherent. Annie, you got to address the drinking at the reunion. Girl. Dahlia said, Nick gave one of the best breakups ever. He was surgical with it. Absolutely. Because I think he was just like, this is going to be my life. No. Dahlia said, but Nick said he lived in the city with Annie to be near her business and used the cabin for a trip. You believe that? That was never going to happen. He said that because he knew that she was going to drop that business for him. He knew. Why do you think he showed her all the luxurious things in his life? To let her know that you can leave all of that and you will be financially taken care of. I hate to say it. She had a good setup. Illy said, this may be an unpopular opinion, but Joe was my favorite person this season. It felt like he was looking into the camera in the Office style whenever Madison fake cried or snapped at him. Listen, I don't know if Joe's a comedian, but he got a future. Drunk Joe is funny Joe to me. Like, that is the funniest drunk I've ever seen. She does. But here's the thing. She is like, either I'm going to be a sugar baby or I could make him into the man that I want without being a sugar baby. Still getting the sugar, but having control. Because when you're a sugar baby, you don't have control. That rich guy got the control. So she's stuck. It's either be a sugar baby or be a controller of that relationship and not give up the sugar, withhold the sugar until he does what I want. Alex said, Anton and Ali don't even seem like they like each other. They don't. But there are so many relationships like that, guys. Annette said, Ali is the best that he can do look-wise. He drinks too much and isn't rich enough. Ali needs to use the show and land an athlete. She's definitely a wag. Definitely a wag. No, I won't say grew. Not wait. I'm not. Isn't I thought his best friend's name was Patrick. Yeah, I'm talking. I think his best friend's name is Patrick. I'm talking about Anton's best friend. I don't think they necessarily grew up with each other, but I think that they met very young, like late teens, early 20s when they were working at McDonald's. Yeah, she's definitely a wag. Hey, Tartar. Tartar said she was talking about Patrick from the pods. I think his bestie's name is Joe. Thank you guys so much. I confused that. I'm sorry. Thank you for bringing that up. Because I'm just like, I think that's his culture, Ali. And I think their bodies are built for vodka. No shade, but I feel like that's like something they grow up on. So they probably have a very low tolerance, very high tolerance for liquor. That's probably why he drinks a lot but doesn't look drunk. Because I think their bodies are built for liquor. He didn't give alcoholic to me. But again, I don't know what I'm talking about concerning that. Hey, Whitney, thank you for being here. Oh yeah, she knows. That's why she immediately said children. She said, "Oh, I'm going to get this baddie in my bloodline. Let's get them kids going. Get her pregnant." Dahlia said, "I don't think Jordan is moved by the money. He out here eating chicken smoothies and sleeping in his living room. I think he could take or leave Megan." You know what? I think that was Jordan in the beginning. Then he saw Megan with Luca. He saw how easy his life was going to be. I think in the beginning, he's just like, I don't care about that. I don't need that stuff. And I believe that. But then that's the thing. Everybody says that, right? Everybody, I don't need that money. And then you get the money. You get around somebody who got money. That's why for me, my strict rule is I do not seriously date until I am financially comfortable. Because I know even if it's not a great guy, the minute he start paying some bills, it can mess with your mind. So I'm not going to put myself in that situation. And I think that's what's happening here. He has a way of living and a way of thinking, and he's fine with that. But then when somebody comes in and just makes life easier, it's hard to say no to that. And I think that's what's going on with him. El Boogie said, my ex-mother-in-law will play kind of dizzy with the family, but I swore that woman was an undercover agent and spy. Oh, God. The Whitney had said, yes, I agree. The last episode let me know he is totally fine with walking away. You talk about Jordan? Brown Girl 44 said, I would be shocked if Anton said no. He is fed up with Ali. Not allowing his friend to visit their home is crazy. I can think so. I think so too. That's the thing. It's up in the air. Like that couple and Sparkles and Jordan, I'm not sure, but I think those are the only two that could go either way. Oh my God, you think he's fake? What, you think he's a narcissist and not autistic? It could go either way. Yeah, but she set herself up for that. And I hope that she realizes that and applies that to how she dates in the future. NC said, Ali is passive aggressive. She wants out instead of telling him. She's painting him as a drunk. She couldn't even be upfront telling him to take out the trash. She just complained about the smell. Yep. Yeah, you can't play with that. You cannot play with that. Hannah said, I knew he was faking it when he crashed out during their honeymoon for not having access to the coochie despite being a nice guy. As soon as he said that, I always get that because I'm a nice guy. That's manipulation. That's manipulation. Actually, for me, I'm not switching up on her. But we have to acknowledge the behaviors that got her into this. She asked for that. I hope she now realizes that's not what she wants. Hey, Captain for Creativity said, hey, y'all, like K. Michelle saying, you can't raise a man, period. Dahlia said, KB is choosing to do everything. Let it fall apart. Force the man to step up. If you won't, walk away. Absolutely. Absolutely. But now she has to realize that that's what she wants. The Whitney Edit said, I wish Calabria had a connection with Michael or Deo They got no camera time. Michael was 41 years old, would have loved to hear his story. Same. Hey, Steph said, my son has autism and he definitely wouldn't respond to the silent treatment. He would interpret it as everything is fine, just facts. You got to communicate. For the show. Calabria is here for the show. Calabria is here for the show. I caught it. It's a daily process, guys. It's a daily process. But sometimes you can bring your work home, and that happens with a lot of people. I was thinking about leaving you on that mountain. Girl, bye. Captain for Creativity said, I think Netflix will give KB the Zayn B. Cutie-gate treatment at the reunion and show us clips showing KB crushing out behind the scenes. I don't think Edmund is perfect by far, but KB chose him for clout. I don't think she chose him for clout. I think this is what she said that she wanted. We all think that, right? Guys, I wanted to be her preacher's wife. I just knew that was a life I wanted. Sometimes you don't know what you want until you're in it. I will give her that. I'm gonna put that on a shirt. We must demand me every day. Social Steph said, men have to actualize. You cannot coddle them or mommy them into being a man that's ready for marriage. Absolutely. They have to be ready. When a man says, you complete me, get away from me, you need to be completed when you approach me. Absolutely. I'm not completing no man. I'm giving him a complete woman. I want a complete man. Sure did. I'm telling you, if she goes into acting, I will not be surprised. Hello said, so no one thinks Edmund is faking it a bit. When they were on the top of the mountain and he was refusing to apologize, his mask dropped a bit. He absolutely could be, because Calabria is letting us know. The Edmund y'all see for cameras is not the one I'm experiencing. So he absolutely could be doing that. NC said, Anton doesn't get me drunk either. He works nights. If he worked a 9 to 5 and had a couple of beers in the evening, nobody would bat an eye. But because he's had it during the day when he's not at work, yep, Ali is twisting it into something it's not. I agree. But she could also be looking for an out. Dahlia said, Madison's family is future faking. They don't really care about Joe. I bet when Madison told them about the breakup, suddenly they will talk about how they never liked Joe. That's also dangerous, though. Let them know from jump, so your family member does not get caught up in this nonsense. Don't fake it for me. I would not be surprised if that's the truth. I hate to say it, but a guy like Edmund is a producer's dream. You can easily manipulate him to do anything. And I think he's probably going to be on more Netflix shows because of that. The producers are probably like, he's easy to work with. Of course he's easy to work with. He don't question nothing. He just does it. Oh, I'm so sorry. Kay said, I do think Edmund might be playing a character because I've seen pics of him from when he was in college and his send him to me, Kay. What did he look like in college? Send it to me. Show it to me, Rachel. Send it to my Instagram, NikkiNicoleStar. Send it to my Instagram. She wouldn't. Why would she leave him? She's marriage minded. Why would she leave? Yes, I think, but here's the thing. He knew about Madison's vision since the pods, but he knew about her vision when he had a different vision of what she will look like. He doesn't want to take care of Madison looking the way she looks. The Madison that he imagined, he would want to take care of her, but not that Madison. That's why he was looking like that. That's why he was acting so gagged. because he was just like, oh yeah, I forgot this is something that I may have to do. And I think he probably realized all of that and was just like, I don't really like her enough to want to do that. NC said Madison's family was too much, especially the mom and sister, so thirsty, no discernment, just like Madison. Oh, it's terrible. It's terrible this season. Art World said people are dragging KB, saying she's taking it. Oh no! See, they're mammies. They're mammies. They gotta demammy. They gotta demammy. Annette said Madison is scared of losing her eyesight, that she is not being honest with herself about this relationship. She needs to go to therapy and work on her feelings. You know what? Thank you for bringing that up, Annette, because that also gives me another perspective from Madison. I think that Madison is also marriage minded, and that's it. Because, like her mom said, her eyesight can go tomorrow or 40 years from now. She doesn't know how much time she has the way she is. So I think she wants to speed through life while she can still experience it this way. So that's another perspective. And thank you very much for that, Annette, because I totally forgot about that. We have a super chat from Kimberly. Kimberly, thank you for the super chat. Kimberly said, I can feel Nikki's blood pressure tonight. I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Thank you, Kimberly. Sarah said, if I were Annie, I'd be annoyed Nick robbed me of a TV wedding. He could say no at the altar. Child, she don't know what's going on. She don't know what's going on. Social stuff said, even if Edmund is neurodivergent, it doesn't mean he isn't responsible for his behavior. Clock it. They wrong for attacking KB. He's not criminally insane. Absolutely. He's a grown adult male. Yes, but again, there's always a concern. Megan got money, and there's always a concern sometimes. You know, people, we see it very often. A lot of poor and working class people submit to the wealthy because they, for some reason, think that, oh, they got this money, they're better off. They can give the kid a better life. Like, you never know. You never know how convincing she could be. I'm hoping that's not how this goes, but you just never know. You never know. As somebody who works in an industry with very wealthy people, you'd be surprised what people would do for money or an opportunity out here. It's very scary. Hey, Kathy. Kathy said, what's sad is after everything is said and done, Edmund will be the last man that kisses KB because would you, after knowing what we know, just said she needs to sue that production company. Annette said, Megan only wants Jordan because she thinks Luca's having that. Thank you. It's such an odd thing. She wants to take care of Luca more than she wants Jordan to be Jordan's wife, in my opinion. And I absolutely agree with that. And I think it's because she's mourning. You are not in your right mind when you lose someone so powerful in your life like that. Losing a parent, listen, I don't know what that's like. I know what it's like to lose the matriarch. My mom was a young mom. So my grandmother was a mom, but also like a grandmother, a grandmother, but a mom at lots of times because my mom had us very young. So losing her was such a great loss for my family, but it just affected me in ways that because I people in my life that I loved had died, nobody to that magnitude. And it was such, I'm never going to get over her, but it was like, I could not believe how that loss affected everything, affected my mind, affected my health. Like I lost so much hair when she passed away. I went from not being able to eat. I went to overeating to the point where I was eating food while vomiting up the food that I had just had because I needed to feel something that would take away or distract me from the fact that I lost somebody and I don't know how to handle that. And there are also, I think I talked about this before, there's like about 2 years of my life I don't remember. I do not remember. And like me and my friends, we talking, they would get so frustrated with me when we talk, when like we have conversations about that season because The first 2 years that I experienced after my grandmother passed away, I cannot tell you. I cannot tell you what happened because I don't know. My brain just blocked that out. I have to listen to other people tell me about that, and I'm like, oh, okay, and I can like jog a memory, but off grip, I cannot tell you. So I think her losing her father, who she obviously really, really loved, I think that she is just not ready to be married. I think she needs some time. You have to heal, sis, before you go into a marriage, especially as a straight woman who lost her father, because you're going to be you're going to be looking for your dad in this man, and that cannot be. He is never going to be your father. He is never going to be able to fill the hole that your father left. You have to learn how to live with that father-sized hole in your heart. It'll never be filled. You have to learn how to exist with that in your life, because that death has fundamentally changed you. And now you have to live your life as this new person. You're a different person now. And you have to figure out how you're going to exist as this new person. Megan doesn't want to, not saying she doesn't want to, but she hasn't yet dealt with the fact that you're not the same Megan. You're a different Megan. So what does this Megan want? What does this Megan need? She hasn't dealt with that, or it appears that she hasn't. She is just, at this point, this is a distraction. Jordan is a distraction. Luca is a distraction. This marriage is a distraction. She's picking up and ready to leave LA and move to Denver and live this life there. It's all distractions. When the distractions are never enough, and she finally has to sit down and deal with the fact that her dad is never coming back, that Megan that she discovers then, I don't think that Megan is going to want this life. And that's the hard part. Kay said, I think Megan is really just trying to convince herself that Jordan is the one and that she's okay with being a stepmom. That's why she focuses so much on Luca and the commonalities with her dad. Absolutely. NC said, did anyone catch Jordan say that Megan was interviewing nannies for Luca? I guarantee you neither Jordan or the baby mama gave her permission to do that. Megan is overstepping. Jordan needs to check her. Here's the thing. They won't. Jordan and the mom won't. Because although she's overstepping, she has financial power. And they are, as parents, they are going to look at what is going to be best for this kid in the long run. And in America is capital. You have this woman that is coming in, although she's overstepping her boundaries, she's hiring a nanny. And although that mom maybe like she's doing too much, she's going to accept that nanny because that nanny is going to give her a break. That nanny is going to help her. She's going to fight it, but then she's going to realize that that nanny just made life a little easier for her. She's going to fight Megan buying all of this stuff, but when Megan offers to put up the money for Luca to go to a really good school, she's going to reconsider that. And that's why I said that, it can get very dangerous when somebody who has money comes into your life, because if they start to make things easier, no matter their intention, no matter the treatment, you might be tempted to accept it. Not everybody can walk away from, a better financial way of living. Not everybody can do that. Hey, Christina, thank you for being here. So Steph said somebody from Edmonds High School claimed he was the same back then, but who the hell? See, y'all not serious with the coochie, and that's the problem. That's the problem. Did anybody send me Edmund back in the day? I need to see it. Hey, Tamara said, Nikki, you're so wrong. Edmund can't have normal friends. No. Those are not his friends. Hey, Bria, thank you for being here. Listen, his little wedding fit was cute. The fall decor outfit in the beginning, okay. The wedding fit is cute. And listen, I don't have a problem with the hair pick. I'm that black. That will work for me. That would work for me. Him picking out his afro. I would eat that up. I would eat that up. Child, I would have been a mess in the 70s. I would have been a mess in the 70s. Bria, you're right on time. Thank you for being here. That could be it too, Art World. I could see them being co-workers who are protective of him because I feel like he's probably babied at his job too. And again, it might not be the tism. It might be, a manipulative character that he has found to work for him. If he acts as the childish, unassuming guy, he can get what he wants. Ashley said Edmund forgot to introduce the woman of his friends, and then he was reminded and basically like, oh yeah, her too. Exactly. He don't know that lady. Preaching. I was waiting for him to start speaking in tongues. Ilwitz said Jordan probably only has his son 1 to 2 days a week, but act like he's raising him by himself. I will say I didn't want to get into that, but I was just very curious. I'm like, how long you got that baby? Because that's the thing. I'm glad she met the baby mom, and I'm glad they're cool, but you got to sit with that woman for a minute. You got to sit with that woman for a minute to figure out what's really going on. Oh, a fever dream. Absolutely, CC. He was preaching. He was so excited. And I was like, oh, well, Anton's probably going to say yes. Because nobody in his family in his community will support him saying no. He sure did. He was so excited for that. I was just like, oh, yeah, well, he has to say yes. Alex had Anton's friend was the hype man for the day. Joe needed that energy. Oh, he absolutely did. Joe needed something. It's terrible. Terrible. Kay said, I mean, respectfully, Ali and Calabria are gorgeous. They could both have whoever they want, which is why I'm confused why they both settling for men. They clearly feel like they don't have what they need. I don't know. Is this the Denver dating circle? Because I was actually shocked. I'm like, y'all are baddies. Why are y'all on this show? It could just be where they're located. Let me tell you something. I'm gorgeous, right? I'm a pretty girl. I got motion in LA, right? But in Philly, I eat on my worst day, right? Let me head up to New York. Smorgasbord. In LA, especially for what I want. Now, if I was the type of sister that loved milk, I would eat. But it's not for me. Milk does not do this body good. But I think it's probably just where you're located. Calabria, we beating them men off of her in New York. We beating them men off of her in Philly or in the South. Atlanta, it was a good time. You know what I mean? I think it's just where you're located. It could just be they're in Denver, where they're not the standard. For the men that are the majority. That's probably just it. Christina said, Joe walking out of that dressing room like Colton ran to jump over the bachelor fence. He took off. Joe said, this isn't for me. Sarah said, Joe saying he was miserable with his 5-year-long fiance was crazy. Then saying he'd be miserable with Madison too. Yeah, it's Joe. He's just not ready. And Joe is probably going to be that old, weird man at the gym trying to get with a 27-year-old. It's very scary. But, unless he does the work, that will be his future. Well, he was freaking out. And the lady was just doing her job, but he did not want to be there. Yeah, he's not. You could tell that the woman in his family baby him, and that's another thing I'll always be so concerned about. Like, I'm not saying that, men who are the baby boy in a female led and majority populated family are the worst kind of guys. I'm just saying the worst kind of guys normally comes from that dynamic. There are men who are the opposite. There are men who grew up in a female led, female driven home where the women are the majority, who end up being the best partners because they were raised by really great women. That's not always the case. And a lot of times, not enough, but not all, but enough where it's a problem. Those women coddle and baby those men, and they send them out into the world as adult toddlers. It's very scary. Um, Dahlia said, I hated all the wedding gowns except for Ali's second one. Ali's second one was cute. I think Calabria's was cute for her. I can see Calabria wearing that. That was realistic. But it was so underwhelming because I was just like, none of y'all should be at a wedding dress fitting. Nobody should be looking for a suit for their wedding day. None of you guys are ready or should be together. Art World said Nick wanted Madison to be the one to end the relationship so bad. She just wouldn't. His anxiety couldn't take it any longer. Absolutely. He wanted to make himself so awful to her that she would walk away, but she didn't. Like, he did everything to make her hate him. And even when he dumped her at the last minute, she still didn't hate him. Remember, Madison was just like, is it just the marriage thing? Like, do you still want to be with me? Like, she still wanted to be with Joe. She would have left the show with him and just dated him. And he's like, no, I don't want that either. I don't want that either. Christina said, I hated watching her begging him to tell her what's wrong. Like, girl, just get up, give him nothing, just like he gave you. Stop. Yeah, it was a hard watch. Alex said, I felt bad for Madison. He knew he was never going to make it with her. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Kate said, honestly, I'm tired of Madison and Annie. They're both unstable and irritating. I can agree with Annie. I think that Madison is dealing with a medical issue, a life-altering medical issue, and she's just rushing her life because of what she's been told would happen to her soon. Bria said, Madison said that they had to redo the breakup scene for the camera, that they had a breakup combo off. Oh my God. Yikes. Maybe that's why at the end she was so compassionate towards him. Yikes. Just packing his stuff, rolling up his drawers and getting out of there. Dahlia said Madison was out there trying to squeeze out tears to convince her she really liked this man. What's there to like, girl? Again, she's marriage minded and thinking about this is it for her. And Eva Ripley said Madison also said Casey was all up on Joe at the bar before the breakup. Pretends to be shocked. Sarah said Madison said the night before the breakup they went to the bar together and Casey was there flirting with him. Not shocked. Dahlia said, stop dry begging for a man who couldn't be bothered to give you a real hug. A side hug at that. He pulled back and gave her a side hug. Could put the Holy Ghost between them in that last hug. Absolutely. He wanted to get out of there. Hey, Denise. Denise said Madison is going to stop trying to trick us into thinking that Joe wasn't trying to leave her from the first moment. But she wanted to make it work. C. Golden said, we're going to get to the reunion and Patrick will still be acting clueless. I hope he wakes up. Captain for Creativity said, I can't decide who was dry begging worse between Madison and Annie. Also, I said it in my review, but Madison said that after Joe told her he proposed petite people, she developed. Well, yes, I did hear that. Nobody pointed me to the interview. Please point me to that interview. And please, what did Edmund look like in college? I want to know. There's a boy I know. Oh, I'm sorry, Megan. Thank you for being here. Denise said, I'm sorry. It's just, he said to her face, you don't want her. Why are you letting him kiss you? I think it's the medical issue, y'all. I really, really do. Dahlia said Madison played this all wrong. She was clinging to him, talking over him, and not doing enough listening. Let him hang himself. Joe would have told on himself if she shut up. And I think that's why she kept on talking. I think that's why. I think that's why. Yeah. That's always the case. And those people go on to have miserable lives. And because they're miserable, they want everybody else to be miserable. They'll vote that way. They will put money into misery. It's all because they screwed up their life and they're mad that everybody else is living happy and free. Elwitz said Annie and Madison cried a lot, but it seemed like they really didn't like Nick or Joe. You could tell that they were just irked by them, but they tried to force their ways until the end. Here's the thing. I think it's because, like with Madison, again, the medical issue. But I think with Annie, sold the lie. So many women are like that. Sold the line, just like, I'm going to make it work. Hey, Amma. Amma said, hey, y'all just got home from my convocation. Amen. Amen. And wait, is it religious? Because I'm so saved. That's all I know. Bria said Madison was too eager for a marriage to try and stick with Joe. She was, and Joe knew that. Tamara said Joe really does not like her. The breakup was so telling, the disdain he had. I would not be shocked if Joe was going to come out later and say that he'd been wanting to leave, but the producers convinced him to stay. I would not be shocked. Sarah said Nick told Annie in the breakup he's been so happy with her. Then minutes later, he's unhappy. He was trying to be the nice guy. The holistic doc said, sorry to break the news, but I saw a pic of Madison on social media and she lost weight. Damn. She caved. Oh, well. Christina said, I feel like she's also fully aware of how she can manipulate him during some of the arguments. Like, there's no way you can tell me she doesn't know who she's dealing with in Edmond. Oh, absolutely. But that's the thing that Ali is dealing with as well. Women like that, see, women know that they're giving a guy a shot. And I always talk about that. I'm like, just date your type. Because what's going to happen is you are going to think that this man is so happy that he got somebody like you that he'll do whatever you want. That will work until it doesn't. Because there is going to be a point in that relationship where he is going to realize and remember that he's the man. And he has the authority and power over you, at least in society's eyes. So you are going to be so happy because you're crafting and forcing him and breaking him into being this man that you want. But then he's going to realize I'm the one with the privilege, not you. And then he's going to do a factory reset and you're going to be in a lot of trouble. So just date your type, ladies. Just date your type. Never think that you're giving a man a chance because you think that you're going to humble him enough to where he worships you. That's not going to happen. If he doesn't worship you initially, he will never eventually grow into worshiping you. Amma said, to be honest, all the contestants feel like they're doing a play, especially Nick. Everybody is. Calaria let him know. I'm auditioning for the Tyler Perry. That's what it's giving. It is absolutely giving AI generated actors. The gag of the century. The gag of the century if that happens. I will be gagged if that happens. Dahlia said KB told him she wants to spoil her man. She's on her tit for tat. Now it's a problem. Nah, sis, that's the thing. Like, remember, we talked about that. When she was saying that, I was just like, you don't mean that. You do not mean that. She got a man that said, bet. You saw how Edmund was going crazy in the pods when she was saying that? He couldn't believe it. He was like, what? Oh, yeah. He locked in on her immediately. But that's the thing. Women like that will always get him. They will never be able to keep them. Why? Because they find out immediately that this is not the way they want to live. And then you do the switch up. And what happens? He leaves you and finds somebody else who can do what he wanted them to do. You lied and said you wanted that just to catch him. Well, you caught him. Now you got to deliver. Now you have to deliver. It said that Jordan sounded like me before I found out I had low iron. I hope he figures out his nutritional deficiency. He was like, I'm tired. Just tired. And I'm like, he's telling you he's tired after work and he's also a single father. Megan, where are you going to fit in? Girl, wake up. Wake up. Dahlia said Jordan works in logistics. He's dealing with people all day. I get that. When I worked in retail, I legit hated it. I legit hated people. Never talked to my family. Oh my gosh. Was I the only one who loved retail? I had a ball. I think the only retail, no, I hated two of my retail jobs. It was Kmart because I got written up for being too friendly. My boss literally told me that people who shop here are poor, so they're miserable, and they don't like coming in and seeing a happy person because they're not happy. I was like, absolutely not. But again, I was 17. I didn't know any better. And guests. I hated guests because I got written up for not being sexy enough. I got written up on Sexy Saturday because I didn't show enough cleavage. Again, I was young. I know better now. I should have sued both jobs. Anyway, I think other than that, I had a really good time. I love working at the Gap. The Gap was such a world life lesson. The Gap on 34th Street. I loved working at H&M. Some of my friends today are friends I met at H&M. I had a good time just for those two jobs, but I get it because all of those jobs during Black Friday was the worst. I hated those jobs during Black Friday. Loved it during Christmas season because right after Christmas, like December 26th through the 27th was horrible. But then the stores would be dead until the 30th or the 31st of December. And then right after that, stores would be dead until like March. That was the funnest time because we did whatever we wanted. The Whitney edit said, as the episode goes on, Megan comes across as more controlling and entitled because I think she wants more from Jordan. She's starting to realize that she's settled. And now she's like, oh no, I don't want this. I want this. That's not what you got, ladies. You got to be honest. That's not what you sold Jordan. So now he's looking like the bad guy. You did not sell him that. You told him that you would morph into his life. He told you what his life was. You said, okay. Now it's not okay. You can't do that. You cannot do that. Absolutely. Absolutely. You know what? Love is Blind Philly is going to be a disaster. It's going to be a hilarious disaster, though. That one I'm looking for. If they hire real Philadelphians, if they hire transplants, it's going to be terrible. If they hire real Philadelphians, it's going to be a key. I can't wait. I cannot wait. She's not. The sister's like, you're wasting my time. You're wasting my time. And I'm not going to give this show my image for free just for you to say no to that man. Girl, bye. Girl, bye. Christina said, I feel like she's also fully aware of how she can. Oh, I got that one. There was another one. Here it is. Christina said, my thing with Megan is like, which is it? Are you dying to be this kid's stepmom or not? Because you factor in having a child around 0% into your daily routine. Again, I think this is a fun distraction. Now I think it's settling in that this is going to be her life. And I don't think she wants it. But who knows what she's going to say. She definitely needs to. She definitely needs to. Hannah said, I understand Jordan a little bit because after work school, I don't want to talk to anybody. I get that. The issue that Megan is having, you don't want to talk to me. And then you're giving your full self to your son. Where do I fit in? And remember, I talked about that. I was just like, girl, he's telling you, you are not going to be first. You're not even going to be second. You'll be lucky if you're third in his life. Megan doesn't want that. She wants to be the number one. She's used to men obsessing over her. And Jordan doesn't obsess over her. And that's what she desires. Yeah, I think he likes a simple life. But if Megan is going to make his life substantially better, he's going to take it. But he's not going to do more to keep her. Absolutely not. I agree with that, Bree. I absolutely agree with that. They seem more compatible. I think Jordan's exes are Ollie. I think Jordan's exes are Ollie, or they're more like Latinas who dress like Lucille Ball for the 1950s with like extreme black eyeliner and are obsessed with like Halloween. They look like they worship the devil, but they're deeply Catholic. That's what I think his type is. Art World said Jordan knows he'll be intimidated by her making more money than him. I think he was in the beginning. And then I think Jordan realized again that his life was going to get better and Luca's life would be a lot better. And he probably talked to the baby mama and was just like, listen, I got a lick. Shut up. Listen. Bree said, I still think Jordan and Megan will get married. They seem set on each other. If they do get married, I don't know if they'll be together by the reunion. We'll see. Because they shoot these shows a year in advance. So we'll see. They have two totally different lifestyles. I got to give it to Jordan, though. He told Megan what his life was. He told her. Megan, I will say, the women this season, the men let them know what it was. They refused to listen, and they sold the men their dream girl. Then they got with the men. It was just like, oh, this isn't who I actually am, and are getting frustrated with the men that they don't want the woman that they showed them they don't want the women who they really are. They want the lie you sold them. I can't believe they're making me defend men. I hate when y'all do that to me. Love Heart said, yes, it seems like she's pushing her lifestyle on him, and that might scare men who can't provide. Yep. Hannah says she is tired of rich guys, but she truly still wants them. She does. She loves the wealthy lifestyle. She does. And I think she just needs to let this go and not say yes, because she is going to resent Jordan when he cannot provide her the lifestyle that she wants, when she's paying for the expensive birthday gifts for herself that she wants and is writing his name on the gift. That resentment is going to build up. Dahlia said, Jordan wasn't even Megan's number one. He was her number three. She just wanted the family. She never bothered to really get to know him. Everything has been about her. When you're right, you're right. You're right, you're right. Even said vodka is so extremely common in Russia, so I don't think it's alcoholism. Definitely just yeah, I absolutely agree. It's like not a big deal for them. It's a Zima in Russia. But I don't think that that's what Ali has a problem with. I think she's trying to make issues because I think she wants to separate Anton from his friends. Dolly said, let's be real, Nikki. Annie can't do anyone's okay. Not with that rat's that's on her hand. She couldn't touch my hair. My thing is, Annie's texture. I'm like, is your hair naturally curly and you're pressing it out? Because her hair gives 4C that was recently pressed and then like throughout the day just started to lift. It always looks like her leave out touched some humidity. That's what that texture. I'm like, are you wearing kinky textured hair? What's going on, Annie? Are you passing? Something's happening with that hair. Something's happening with that hair. Kay said Anton actually did seem alcoholic to me based on how much beer liquor he clearly went through when Ali asked him. But then I remembered he is Russian, so he's kind of built different. Not only is he Russian, he was drinking with his friends. So Patrick's been over. His best friend has been over. His mother has been over. So Ali is acting like he's the only one drinking that when he was entertaining people because he's home throughout the day. What's the big deal? They're all living in the same apartment complex. So he's probably been hanging out with the guys from the show. And he don't get me alcoholic, even if it's his culture. She got to think about it. Hopefully not. She doesn't need to. You do not need to compromise like that in a relationship. It's relationships are not a compromise. Relationships are collaboration. You don't give up anything. You just merge ideas and lifestyle. That's it. She's realizing she got to give up everything. Go back to LA, Glitter. Go back to LA. Dahlia said, I think Ali is indirect because of her culture. I think Brazilians are indirect. No. Oh, I don't know. I've never met a Brazilian. Ain't that something? Never met a Brazilian. Guys, I'm telling you, my 20s, I was out of my mind. I was out of my mind. I didn't start getting my mind back to about 27. And then when I got it fully back when I turned 30, I think 31, I was furious. Furious. Yeah, you can't baby them at all. Baby me. I'm not babying you. Dahlia said, as a PK and Jesus lover, Nikki, no, you don't want to be a preacher's wife. It's hard out there for preachers' families. Only the strong. Absolutely. It's sad to say every preacher's family I know, shambles. Shambles. Kate said, it really irritates me how Love is Blind shows all these Black people in the previews to get our attention and then never keeps them on the show. Absolutely. Absolutely. Because Black people are the influence. Whatever we say is hot becomes hot. Love is Blind is hot because Black people were watching it during COVID. They never really cater to us. They just use us for views. It's the WB all over again. It's UPN all over again. It's slavery all over again. Like Black people will never be enslaved on a plantation again because they enslaved us in so many other kind of ways. They enslave us in the media. They enslave us in professional athletics. They enslave us in the workplace. Like they enslave us in prison. We don't have to be on a plantation. They're already farming us in so many other ways. So Steph says, as an autistic mom, I'm very upset by this casting of Edmund. My son is gentle and very empathetic, a bit socially awkward, but knows right from wrong. Well, see, here's the thing. The casting of Black people will always be exploitive. Always. Very rarely will you get, especially a white-led show, casting Black people that would be positive for any part of the Black community because they do not have a positive outlook on Black people. So they are casting from a place of disdain. So it's always going to be like that, unfortunately for us. Hey, Miss Brown Sugar. Miss Brown Sugar said, nah, it's Anton lying about it that gives me pause. You knew that tequila was gone. But I didn't see him lying about it. I felt like he was like me, like looking at her like you're just trying to fight, like you're trying to make a big deal out of something when it never really was that. But we'll see. Miss Rodriguez also said, what would be the point of playing up this version of Edmund? It's a real turn off. But remember, the show sold us on Edmund, right? The only thing they showed us about Edmund in the previews was that he eats his boogers. This was always the character he was going to portray. Sarah said, I hope Joe's future wife never gains weight. He'll divorce her. And you know, the funny thing about it is he'll divorce her for gaining weight and he's going to be shaped like the penguin. That is his future. Joe's future is the penguin. But he's going to have these high physical standards for the women in his life and he will meet none of them. You know what? He can run. So I wasn't shocked by that. A D2 college football player. I'm going to see if I can find pics. I hate to say it. Edmund, this is a job for white women. I don't think we were ever supposed to be the ones that get him. This is a job for a white woman. Let me see if I can find it. Edmond College. Edmond Love is Blind College. Oh, he's well known. Edmund Harvey. West Virginia. Okay. Oh, he's a known athlete. I didn't know that. Yo, he could be playing a character. Oh, yeah, he's a football player. Oh, wait a minute. I found a picture of him with blonde hair. He was never supposed to be with no sister. What? Yeah. 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 That's what it is. That's what it is. This was not the job of a white woman. This wasn't the job of a black woman. This is the job of a white woman. No shade. A certain kind of white woman. A white woman from West Virginia. That was her job. See, that's the thing, Calabria. This ain't your promise. You're fighting with a white woman in West Virginia. That's her promise. Not that's not yours. You got to let that go. You have to let that. What? Who is he? Yeah. A master's in what? Manipulation? Oh no. Love Heart said, my friend just lost her dad, her best friend. She still doesn't talk to anyone. Check in on her. Even if it's just, if she says she's okay, even if you just go over there to her house and just sit with her. Check in, make her something to eat. If you don't cook, bring her something to eat. Bring her meals for like a week. Clean up if you can. Go over to our home and clean up. Her mental state is not good. Is not good. Social Self said, I lost my maternal grandmom at 17. I'm still affected by it. I was very close. Same. My not with me, but my little sister. She was very young when my grandmother passed. Affected her gravely. Gravely. It's not easy. It's not is it? Yeah. Sarah said, lost my grandmother in 2019 and the world literally stopped for me. Grief is a crazy, scary thing. Absolutely. Absolutely. It's those years I was terrified. I'm surprised I'm here. It was bad, y'all. K Pratt said, I lost my dad last year and you have me over here. I'm sorry, K Pratt. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Of course, I always share that just because it's a real thing. And I think especially as Black people, we make ourselves so tough that we don't allow ourselves a moment to just be raw, to be hurt, to exist in that. We're always, no, you got to get up, you got to keep going. Sometimes you can't get up and keep going. And sometimes getting up and keep going is it's the worst thing for you in certain times like that. So I will continue to share that because it is a conversation that we need to have in the community. We absolutely need to have. Yeah, this is the matriarch. Like losing the matriarch, Big Mama. That's never easy. Yeah, it's never easy. Like I just stopped crying about that lady. We were in my sister, me and my little sister, we were shopping for dinner. And my sister was like cleaning out some stuff and she found my grandmother's last shopping list that she had. She was making dinner for the family and she took a picture of it because she thought it was sweet, right? And she was just like, oh my God, I just found Gammy's last shopping list. Can you believe it? She said something. She's just like, Nikki would do the same thing. This is how she would write her shopping list. I looked at that picture. I froze. Literally standing over the chicken in Ralph's. Broke down. Broke down. My little sister's looking at me like, you okay? Broke down. But but you know what I did? I got myself together and I continued on. But I let myself have that moment because that is going to be my life. Moving, like, that is my life. I'm going to have moments where I just think about her and I just have a breakdown. But the good thing is I get back up from there, but I allow myself to have that moment because was a huge part of my life. It still is. I was not cooking like this when she was here on earth. Soon as she left, all of a sudden, I got to get La Crusade. I got to start cooking. Like, I am not the same person. That death changed me. And it will change you. And that is okay. That's okay. There is nothing wrong with that. But just don't do anything. Don't make any drastic life changes after such a loss. You're going to regret it. You just may possibly regret it. Pace URL said, okay, thanks for these comments because I've changed since the passing of my grandma in April. I see life differently. You will. You are not going to be the same person. Like it's two deaths, right? It's the death of somebody that you loved greatly, and it's the death of the person you were before they passed. And that's just the reality. You're never going to get that person back because you were that person when they were here on this earth. You can't. Miss Brown Sugar said, on one hand, if they don't want to make certain changes, they shouldn't. On the other hand, Jordan was throwing up obstacles just to force a fight. He shouldn't just walk away because he already resents Megan. Absolutely. I'm telling you, he will stay because he sees, not just for him, he sees Luca's life being better with Megan. He will make himself miserable if that kid gets a better life. Very, very. I am part his hair, grease his scalp black. I will learn how to cornrow for that man, child. It does something to me. Love Heart said, yes, I can see Jordan resenting Megan, or maybe she'll make him better. And once that, they can produce it to look like something else. Oh, they absolutely can, guys. Like, these Jordan and Megan could be absolutely in love, and we could just be seeing the worst parts of their relationship and be gagged that they're still together at the reunion. You never know. Nora said on AD's podcast, Jordan was referring to himself as a single dad, like not exactly accurate. Well, he is, right? He's a single dad, and the baby mom is a single mom. It's just saying that you're not married. I don't think it's going to be a slight on the other partner, unless they're saying it to intentionally slight the other partner. But that's just accurate. You know, you are not in a relationship with the person that you created this child with. So you're a single dad. Yeah, listen. Now that I know who Edmund is, those high water khakis, that's to impress white women in Virginia. You're not going to like it. You're not the kind he's trying to attract. How the hell he ended up with Calabria, we'll never know. Absolutely. This is her resume. This is her acting resume. Eva Empathy said, it's so funny seeing the Caucasians called the pick a comb, LOL, acting like it's the first time they've seen one before. Guys, some probably have. This probably is. You never know, girl. You never know. Oh, definitely a factor, girl. That's why if y'all ever see me, if I'm always like, when I'm going to Philly, I'm always like, oh my God, I'm going to do this live. I'm going to do that live. And I only end up doing one live. That's because I'm busy. It's because I'm busy. I'm in them streets being appreciated, y'all. Every time my confidence get a little low, let me head back to the East Coast. Miss Proshigan said, I never feel as fine as when I'm in Chicago or Philly. Like, you get Nathan. Cream of the crop. that plane, I'm beating them off me in the airport. Girl, Dahlia said, I like that confidence, Nikki. You are a beautiful woman. You got to know where your kind to find is most appreciated. Absolutely. That's why I've been talking to the black girls out here. And like, oh my God, I can't. Girl, go back home. You need a confidence boost? Go back home. Kay said, period, because in Philly, our men know how to appreciate some chocolate. They do. They will build your confidence. Like, boy, leave me alone, Rockman. I'm not trying to. I don't live here no more. So Steph said, I'm in Seattle, so I understand. Location matters, but I'm still not dating a man that eats Absolutely. LB said, girl, just to kind of sweep you off your feet and take you to the villa in Monaco. What? Man, listen. I don't do milk. But if he got a villa in Monaco, I might have to see what he's talking about. Listen, know who you are. Know who you are and know where you can find your people. Listen, I'm a 10 in LA for the whites. That was such a culture shock for me when I moved out here. I was like, it was concerning for me at first. I could not believe how many white men approached me. It was crazy. And I'm like, you feel safe approaching me? Listen, if you are somebody and your preference, if you're a dark-skinned black woman and your preference is white men, come to LA. Come to LA. It's a smorgasbord for you, girl. Especially if you deep dark with 4C hair. This is your town. So Steph said, I've never been hit on by a black and white man so much. Chicago men step up. Oh, yeah. You got to know where you are. Oh, Texas too. Texas fried me. Texas fried me. The way white men in Texas were approaching me were like how white men in LA approach me. And I'm like, what is this? I never knew that about Texas. I never knew that about Texas. And they be cowboy down. Cowboy hat, big boots. Hey, you from around here? And I'm like, oh my God, he's going to lynch me. And he's like asking me for my number. Oh, it's scary down south, child. Lord. Kay said, I don't think it's that Joe wasn't ready for a relationship. I think he simply didn't find Madison attractive and knew he could never get past that. I was also talking about the relationship he was in before that. Child, he's a commitment phobe. Dahlia said, at NikkiStar, what do you think of the cast disliking Nick? I don't see why the women don't like him unless Annie and Kate poisoned the well. I think Nick is just red-pilled. Too red-pilled, especially for the men. Nick is red-pilled and he's also pompous with his wealth. So he probably made all of the men, especially Jordan, feel less than because Nick's job, luxury watch dealer. He's a trust fund baby. So they don't really know how to connect with humans, right? Who are not serving them. So he probably has an approach that turns everybody off, but attracts women who want to be taken care of. Ice Macchiato said, I saw an interview where Madison said she and Joe met back up for dinner after the show wrapped and they made out with each other. She's learned nothing. Why would you even meet with him? If you were to meet with him, it should have been to set him up to get jumped by your cousins. Like, girl, what are you Ciao. Oh, okay. Thank you, Kay. Yeah, Edmund has a really, oh my God, I think I just found my hair for Thanksgiving. Start my Thanksgiving here. Let me check the DMs because it goes down in the DM. Thank you. Yep. Yeah. What were you doing with a black one? Yeah. How the hell can I turn it off? How did he? No. Ain't no way. Ain't no way. How the hell he ended up with Calabria? Let me look through the. Yeah, this isn't. No, and there's nothing wrong with that. Not everybody, not every black person, and I know I might give that off, but not every black person is built for a black partner. I told you about my best friend. He tried his whole life to date black women. My friend group set him down and was just like, maybe you need to look outside. We were just like, maybe you just because I don't what you are looking for. We don't think you could find here. And he tried his darndest. Soon as he explored, found his forever white. And that, for some of y'all, your promise is not a black person. And that's okay. That's okay. You know, the ancestors knew that, you know, you a little different. And that's okay. Edmund, I don't think, you know, black love ain't for everybody, and that's okay. One day I might end up having a baby. Keep my head high, make sure it's never down. Make sure I keep my smile. Never keep my head down. Then getting negative comments. Edmund, I'm so sorry. I would not. You couldn't sell me a house. No shade. No shade. You're a sweet guy. You're a sweet guy. I'm not giving you my social security number or my account, my checking account. Mm-mm. He's rapping. He's rapping in these videos. He's rapping in these videos. You know what? Here's the thing. It's not that a black woman isn't for him. I won't say that. He looking for a baddie. A black American baddie is not for you. You know what you need? You need what kind of sister you need? If you want a sister, where you need to be looking, you need to be looking at that sister that will go to Comic-Con with you, fully dressed out in character, maybe even a furry convention. That's the kind of sister you need. Like, you need a kind of sister that would stay in a hostel, you know, when y'all go on vacation. She don't need the Ritz. She'll do a hostel. You know what I mean? That's the kind of sister you need. I don't know exactly what to quite call them, but you need an explorer. Just like you. That's the kind of, if you want to date a black woman or be with a black woman, you can't go for no shade, a baddie. You gotta go for a different kind of baddie, a cultural, you know, a worldly baddie, you know. A baddie that's a Swiftie, a black baddie that's also a Swiftie. You know, she doesn't see any problem with Taylor Swift's latest song because we're not reading as deep. We're reading too deeply into. You need that. You need that. You can't. What you're trying to get, you're shooting too high. You're aiming too high, or you're just aiming in the wrong direction. Go over here. That's probably where she's at, if that's what you want. Miss Brown Sugar said, I think that Nick and Annie breakup may have been a redo too. Another recapper pointed out that whenever we see serious couch combos in past seasons, it's because something happened off camera. Oh, that's really good. That's a really good observation. Hey, Just Jonda. Just Jonda said, Nick's breakup with Annie should be studied. It was perfect. It was clear, concise, damn near surgical. I agree with you there. I agree with you there. Absolutely. That's what I was saying. Like, he'll play that game in the beginning, but eventually he's going to be like, oh, I'm a man. I could own you if I wanted to. I'm not going to play this game with you no more. Abraham said KB definitely bit off more than she could chew. I think she knew he had trauma, but didn't know he was really like this all the time. Played herself. True. Sarah said, I feel like Nick was annoyed that Annie kept clocking that he doesn't love her. He knew she would. What happened? It got cut off. Nick was worried Annie would keep clocking that he doesn't like her for the rest of their marriage. Okay, Sarah. Okay. I can see that. Ice Macchiato said, for real, I ain't spoiling a man until he proves he's worth it. I cringe when KB was saying that in pods. Listen, I'll spoil, right? In secret. Nobody will know that. Absolutely not. Nobody will know that. I will never forget. This was when I was like deep in the church. One of my friends was telling me in like my single prayer group, she was telling the story about how she appreciates her man. Mind you, he had no money. And she was just like, him and his friends was hanging. They were all hanging out together. And while they were hanging out, she was like she was in the kitchen, early 20s, in the kitchen, making him and his friends something to eat. This broke man, making him and his friends something to eat. And then she came and she served the man and his friends. And all the girls were like, I knew something was wrong with me because I was disgusted by this story. I was disgusted. And she served him and his friends food. And she didn't eat, by the way. She didn't eat anything. She just watched them eat. And halfway through like their hangout, she walked into the room, got on her hands and knees, and started massaging his feet in front of the men. And she was just like, all his guys was looking like she was like, they were weirded out by it because they'd never seen a man be treated like that before by a woman. My heart is beating so fast because I was the only one. Everybody in that prayer group was like, they was damn near about to speak in tongues. They were like, oh my God. I was sick to my stomach. But that is the mind of so many women, right? Especially the church. Listen, I love the Lord. The church got the women crazy. The church has messed up the minds of women and people of color. It is scary. Scary. But I would do that, right? Like I would take care. I would let me cater to you because nigga, this is your day. Forgive me. But I would absolutely do all that stuff for him. Ain't nobody gonna see it. Like, you know, ain't nobody gonna know. Like, you're not gonna know the stuff I did for You're not gonna have receipts of me being a dummy. Like, absolutely not. I'll cater in the privacy of our home. You're not gonna see me getting down on my hands and knees and rubbing his feet while him and his friends is watching the game. And you can call me whatever you want. Absolutely not. And honestly, it could be just be because I'm Black American, so I have an aversion to slavery, but absolutely not. You could like absolutely spoil him on his birthday. You know, you could, but like, don't spoil him to the point where you like are embarrassing yourself. Please, ladies, please don't do that. It's never worth it. It's never worth it because that man has yet to spoil her. And I'll move on. Sarah said Nick was worried, and I got that. Kate said, come on, Nikki, you know Love is Blind Philly is just going to be a bunch of people from Jersey. Oh, I hope not. If they don't get real Philadelphians, it's not going to be good. Philadelphians, no matter the culture, are hilarious. It won't be a good show. Please do not get them Jenkintown people in there. We do not feel like that. Free up his 1 to 2 days. Let me stop. Social Steph says Sparkle Megan and Jordan remind me of the redhead lawyer from Sex and the City. Ooh, yes, I can absolutely see that. Did you guys send me more pictures of Edmund? Oh no, I got all the pictures of him. I can't believe he didn't. Him and Calabria, I just can't believe they came together like that. But I think when Calabria said that she would like worship him, he stuck there. And who wouldn't? Hannah said, men don't have to lie to women to get us. We lie. Yeah, you better preach, Hannah. You better preach. Miss Brown Chicken said it looks a lot of bad clippings on top. Oh, of course. Ice Macchiato said Annie's hair may be naturally curly because it's fried too with the color. Maybe it does feel rough. It needs some more. It looks rough. It needs some moisture. Hannah said, "Oh, I got that one." Ice Macchiato. I'd be bothered by Anton drinking if he displayed poor behavior once the drinking started, but I don't see it. I do not see it. Hey, Gwen. Gwen said Anton is the only one that hasn't been drunk. I would have to agree. I would have to agree. But that's not necessarily the case. That's not necessarily the case. He needs to get like, that sister, that, that kind of, I don't know. It's not, because it's not bad traits. Like, I don't want to say it like it's a bad trait, which I know the black girl I'm talking about. You know what I mean? Like, you know what? He would do best with a black woman that also grew up in white spaces. Those are the best couples. Those are the best couples. I remember an acquaintance, somebody I knew, when she introduced us to her boyfriend, we were all like, she's a sister. When we met him, we were all like, black? Nobody thought that she would be with the black guy, because she just never really gave that. And like, when she would talk about the guys that she was attracted to, they were always white, right? So we had an event and she brought him there and we all met him. We were all excited to meet him. We had a white guy. Like, we pictured it to be a white guy. I'm telling you, the group chat was crazy. The group chat was crazy when we met that guy. He was black, but he was black like her. You picking up what I'm putting down? He said, "Hey guys, I'm Bradley. Nice to meet you." And we were like, "Oh, okay." And I'm like literally watching them like build and raise a family on Facebook, and they work. Like, they are a black couple. They do sometimes Caucasian things, like, hiking the ice mountain. That's not something we do in the community, but they found somebody who would do that, who looks just like them from the same culture, but they are able to express their culture differently and add in other things. Maybe that's what he needs. That could work. I'm telling you, they just work. And and she even said it like later on when they got engaged. She was just like, "I knew you guys." And we were like, "Yeah, girl, but we're happy that you found your forever." But that might be it. That might be it. Not everybody is a working class black that grew up in a black neighborhood. Some of us grew up in neighborhoods that we didn't see ourselves, and we had to cope with that. You might find another black person who went through that as well, and that might be the thing that brings y'all together. You never know. But I won't necessarily put a woman of another culture on him. But if it was the case, I think his norm is white women from Virginia. That's a specific type of white woman. But he might need to get, a sister similar to him in his situation. Oh, of course, because the franchise is dying, right? So you always throw in black people to save it, but you never cultivate that audience. So stuff said KB's fine self was in there saying she would go 50-50 with, yeah, but that you're going to attract men. You're going to get the men you want. Will you be able to keep them? Ice Macchiato said, "I'm clocking this, but I think Edmund had a thing for Annie. Notice he talked about her natural look in Baja. Mind you, she has eyelashes and weave. Well, that's probably what he's used to. That's probably his norm. You also have to understand, black people who grow up in spaces where we don't see ourselves, or the majority, a lot of their minds is something. It's something has happened to them. There's a lot of trauma there, and especially for him to have been somebody, a dark skinned black male, a black boy at the time, who grew up in white spaces, Virginia white spaces. That's some trauma. That's some trauma. So I'm not surprised that that would be his beauty standard, right? A traumatized mind would think that, which is why no shade. I can't. Your last 9 girlfriends had to have looked like me. I can't do it. The trauma, I can't, because I'm working through my own trauma, and then you're coming at me with more trauma. I can't do it. I can't do it. Um, don't do it, Christina. Don't do it. Dahlia said, to everything there is a season, a time to laugh and a time to cry. Perfectly reasonable to mourn loss. You honor them with your tears. Absolutely. Absolutely. Christina also said, Jordan just put out a children's book about expressing emotions because he wants little boys to be okay showing their feelings. I love that. See, here's the thing. I think that Jordan's a good guy. I just don't think him and Megan are the perfect match. Sierra, what's up, Set? Losing my grandmother December 2022 was and is truly devastating. Still going through it. That was my girl. Absolutely. Losing the matriarch is never easy. I hate to say it, but sometimes losing a patriarch is a lot easier than that matriarch. My God, today. Ice Macchiato said, but I really do pick up that Edmund like Annie. He complimented her looks at Baja and low-key wished she told him he was perfect. I see straight through him and he never hears all the good things KB says. That's very true. Because he's always telling her, it would be nice for you to say something nice. And she's like, I do. But it doesn't matter because he probably has different standards for her, because she is probably not the norm that he's used to dating. Bree said, we need a list of locations where we are loved at this point. Let me take some notes. The South, or any city or any state that has a predominantly Black city. That's where you'll be. Because I had to tell my girlfriends out here who were just like, they want Black love, but they're not going to find it in LA. And I'm like, well, you're not going to find it in Studio City, sis. You're not going to find Black love in Studio City. You probably will find Black love in Woodland Hills, because that's where the brothers with money. For my LA girls, because remember when I was looking for a place, me and my family were looking for a place to stay, and we were looking in areas that had like a gated community, because that's when we were looking to buy a house at the time. I don't know if we're house people in LA. We'll see. We'll talk about that later. But anyway, every time we had a viewing in Woodland Hills, I saw brothers with money. And I was like, what is this? And the realtor was just like, oh yeah, this is where a lot of established Black actors and just Black people in the entertainment industry, this is where a lot of them come to settle. And I did not know that. Noted. But also, you want a Black man that dates Black women? Go to Altadena, right? You gotta get out there. You gotta go past the 10. I'm sorry, Inglewood is far. I get it, but that's where they at. If I can't go to Philly, I'm gonna go to Inglewood, but I'm gonna make sure my hair is straight. No shade, LA. Y'all got a little problem. You got a colorism and texturism problem, right? But if you want to get one, middle part bust down, and you better be skinny. Just saying. If you're a little thick, you still got to have a middle part bust down, but you're probably going to attract a Crip. Now, from my experience, they're nice people. I ain't never met a mean Crip. I'm just saying. If you're looking for a Black man and you're a little thick, you're going to attract a Crip. Don't ask me how I know. But I'm just saying there are spaces out here where Black men do date Black women, but you gotta go where they're at. You gotta go where they're at. If he's in NoHo, he's a gigolo. Move on. Move on. Yeah, that was a little, Texas kind of threw me. Texas threw me for a loop. Like, I'm like, I know I'm pretty, but y'all do this down here? Yikes. So Steph also said, when I lived in Philly, I was pregnant and I would be out with my son's dad. And yeah, that's one thing. Philly men have the audacity. They will be homeless and they will still think they got a shot with you. The audacity. Whitney said, I'm in Dallas, Nikki, and my hinge is major. Yeah. Welcome to America. Welcome to America. Dahlia said, I see what you mean about Nick. I can totally see how his general demeanor will. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And that's okay. There are black punk rockers. We started the punk movement. So I'm not shocked, right? But I think he's not it's not going to work with the Calabria, Edmund. You don't need a Calabria. You might need a Doja Cat. I was like, what is okay? But that's who he is. That's who he is. You know what? Here's the thing. I don't think she was only interested in him. I think Edmund locked in on her when she said that she was going to take care of her man. I think that's what happened. I think so. All of his pictures, like I was looking at his Instagram, all of his pictures are full of white people, especially when he was a kid. So I think he was fostered in white spaces. There's always hope. There's, even for an Edmund, they will always have a shot. Yeah, he's rapping in all of his realtor videos. I couldn't take him seriously. And I feel like buying a house is such a huge deal. I got to be real strict about that. I do not want my realtor in a floral shirt rapping in front of the properties that he's showing me. No shade. But that's a really big decision I'm going to make. And I need somebody who's serious. I'm glad you're fun. I don't want a fun realtor. I want a serious realtor. Ephraim said, I'm starting to think that Edmund is a scheme that Netflix set up because I cannot with those videos. Here's the thing. We won't know who he really is until he's on The Perfect Match. Yeah, a quirky little sister, a sister, if that's what he wants, a quirky little sister that he can, sell everything and buy a van and live in, and travel the world in that van, with their sister. Because a lot of Black women are not raised to like live in a van with a man, but there's a certain sister that will be okay with that. And not like poverty, right? But like we're just exploring the earth, and they're probably going to live in like a compound, a hobbit compound. That's what you need, like a sister who, you know what? I wouldn't live in a hobbit. See, I don't. He could be tricky. We could be. What kind of? He needs an Aquarius. He needs an Aquarius that went to white schools. That's what he needs. That's what you know what kind of sister will stay in a hostel. You know what I mean? She will stay in a hostel in Russia. And she'll be like, that's, this is, that sister is just like, this is, follow my travel page and I'll show you how to travel the world with only $20 in your pocket. That one. That'll be perfect for Edmund if he wants Black love. But I think the Black woman that he's looking to have Black love with, I think that's out of his range. Dahlia said Edmund needs an anime-loving Black girl, the kind of Black girl who wears space buns. Yes, thank you. Yes. And the kind of sister that would name their kid like after a character from Bleach. You know what I mean? Like that, Yakumato Tashira Glover. You know what I mean? That's the kind of sister he needs. He would absolutely date a furry. But there are furry blacks out there. He could do it. Miss Brown Sugar said there are black women of all varieties. I think sometimes men only believe certain kind of women are allowed to be quirky or golf or nerds or whatever. We out here. Absolutely, but that is true. Only certain women are allowed to be quirky. Black women are not allowed to be quirky. If a black person is quirky, we call them whitewashed, right? So it's, now everybody's becoming very more acceptive of the fact that blackness is so different. Blackness is a spectrum. Now you can do that. But before, you will be called a lot of different other things and not fully accepted. So, but that's what I think Edmund needs. But also, I don't want that sister to be manipulated by him. But I also think that that's more of his range. The quirky sisters. Oh, that Canadian sister, UK black. Yeah, come on. I knew we would find it. That's what he need. A cute outgoing. Y'all hit the nail with the space buns. Yes, y'all hit the nail with the space buns. And they could go to like the Hello Kitty Cafe together. Dahlia said, I would pull a Tabitha Brown. After a man supports me for 20 years with backbreaking service, I'll surprise him with an elaborate gift that's okay. I didn't know where this was going. I thought you were going to say you were going to retire your man. And I was going to be vehemently against that. But an elaborate gift, absolutely. Absolutely. You never know. Don't knock it until you try it, Whitney. Don't do him. But that's what Doja Cat if her mom was black. Kimberly said, off topic, I just made a pumpkin pie sweet rolls with pumpkin spice cream cheese frosting. And I thought, you are reading my mind because that's what I'm making tonight. That's what I'm making tonight. I got them from Trader Joe. That's what I'm making tonight. Oh, I know it was delicious. Listen, let me tell you something. If I ever want to get attention from black men in LA, middle part bust down. Middle part bust down, oil up the titties with a nice little push up. Got them going crazy. And back in the day when I was an unforced size 6, I was like, I don't know why y'all crying about not getting black men, child. It's a smorgasbord over here. Then I gained weight and the Crips came a knocking. Child, you got to be careful in these LA streets. You got to be careful. But I can see that. I can totally see that, guys. And I would love that. Like, I'm telling you, I love like when quirky black people find each other. It's like, it's one of the greatest things to ever happen to me. Like, I love it. I'm kind of quirky. So I don't know what my man is going to look like. Cause I'm from Philly, right? So I have a certain attraction, but I would be attracted to a quirky guy too. But I'm used to a certain kind of thing because of where I'm from. But I'm interested to see. I might get quirky. We'll see. Not an Edmund. A quirky that grew up in the hood. Social Self said there's a black lady on my FYP that stays in hostels. Edmund's type. She's definitely his type. Ironically, she's a psychiatrist. Edmund could be a match. There's a sister that I follow. Love her content down. It could never be me. She's always out in the forest making a full course meal. I could never do it. But I know there's a black man out there that's right for her. I know while she's out there, seasoning the meats, he'll probably be out there catching it, carving it up and frying it. Like there, you will find your quirky black person. You will find it. They are out there. Y'all explorers. That's it. That's all I was saying. You know what? We are trying to find the perfect match for Edmund, y'all. OMG. You made them from scratch? How'd they turn out? Send me the recipe. Because I literally want to make them from scratch, but I'm scared because I've never made cinnamon rolls. Dahlia said, we need to start up a matchmaking service for average black people. like what Jewish women do in the temples. Oh, absolutely. But listen, there's a matchmaking service for average Black people. It's just the Black church, but y'all don't go. Y'all don't go. Y'all got to get in there. Yeah. Hannah said Nikki likes her man to be. I don't. I really, really don't. Here's the thing. I actually stopped entertaining Black men in LA just because, no shade, it's just not for me. The gang culture is like, it's like a part of their lives. Like, it's just like, oh, you know, everybody knows somebody that's affiliated. And I'm like, oh, well, it's a little too, like, it's no, there, nobody's ashamed. You know what I mean? Like, I could not entertain that. You know what? The gang culture is like, it's like Islam in Philly. You know what I mean? It's like Philly Islam is real different than anywhere else. And if you're from Philly, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Like, everybody is Muslim, but it's a different type of Islam that was birthed in the prison. I know what I'm talking about. So it's like, but it's like very like, oh, this is it. Like in Philly, you just know somebody, like you would, it's very normal to have a Christian and Muslim family. And like you have your Muslim family members over for like Christmas, like they're opening Christmas gifts. But they're from Islam. You know what I mean? They took their Shahada, but they celebrate Christmas. And they in and out of Islam, depending on how much of a bid they did at Gratisford Prison. You know what I'm talking about? So it's like, it's that acclimated to where it's like, there's not a shame. It's just like, this is just who we are. And as for me in my house, that's too much. Like, I cannot do it. I was talking to one of my really, really good friends, if they're watching, hey, and they just slipped out and said, oh yeah, my family's crypt affiliated. And I was like, huh? He's like, oh yeah, like half of us are like Crips. But it's just like, you're mainly, and they would let me know because I was over their house, and it was like, this is like mainly like a Crip neighborhood. So everybody in this neighborhood, if they're not banging, they are Crip affiliated. And I was like, why did you tell me before I came over here? But for them, it was like, oh no, it's not a big deal. These are like working class people who like, this is like it. This is just the life. It's not like a bad thing. That's when I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to get a man on the East Coast, because this is my type is a Philly guy. That is it. Hood quirky. Yes, it's possible. It is possible. Yes, quirky with a shape up in the bit. You know what I'm talking. Quirky that brush his teeth. You know what I'm talking about. Oh, never. I can never do a pretty boy. I could never do a pretty. No shade to the pretty boys. I just could never. Because I would be like, well, who's doing the bending? You know what I mean? Like, we can't. We both got a skincare routine. Let me introduce you to that. I couldn't do it, but I know that there's a lid for every pot. Okay. But it just is not for me. Ephraim said, Nikki trying to manifest Edward being cast, Edmund. It's going to happen. I'm telling y'all, it's going to happen. Netflix is not going to release him. He's good TV. Dahlia said, I'm in the Black church, Nikki. Ain't nothing but women and old Black men. The church mothers are dying out and trying to pump. That's the thing, because you're the only one there. Like, the young people are not in the church anymore. That's what the matchmaking is. Them church mothers will get you married. They will get you married, but the young people ain't in the church no more. No. See, that's the thing. I can't be bored. Like, there's not enough money to make me like live in that kind of misery. My man, I got to be attracted to him. Of course, he has to have money. He has to be smart. He has to be fun. He has to be kind and compassionate. He got to mesh with my family. Like, there's like a whole list. Like, I could never. because I don't want to pamper. I want to be pampered. Like when I pamper you, it's like, oh, you doing this for me? Yeah, King, I'm doing this for you. You know, I love you. But I got to be the one, like the initial situation is just like, that's how I live my life. Like, oh my God, honey, let me walk. Don't pick me up. Let me walk, honey. I could walk. I could do it on my own. I need that. I need the Alondria, just in black. It's different. It's very, very different. Like, not only do my Muslim family members celebrate Christmas, they be in the picture. They all up in their hijabis in the Christmas pictures. I love it. I wouldn't trade it for the world. I love it, but it's just like Philly Muslims are like nobody else. It's a different kind of Islam, and it is just you can't explain it unless you live in it. And I love it all. I love it all. Yes, in Jesus' name. I remember when my cousin passed, Muslim, and one of my other cousins was mad because they were having his funeral in the church. It was such a sad time, but that moment brought so much hilarity because he was just like, he was like, what are we doing? Why are we having this in the church? And my family was just like, he loved the Lord. And my dad was like, he Muslim. The planning of that funeral was crazy. He ended up having to have two because the family could not decide. And we're literally in this church. Everybody in full Muslim regalia in this church, pastors preaching. And I'm just like, my family is so interesting. It just like, he doing an altar call, asking people who want to give their life over to Jesus. And I'm just like, read the room, bro. Read the room. But it's just, you cannot explain Philly Islam. You just got to experience it. Listen, the city is wild, but I love it. I love everything about it. It's not like anywhere else. It's not like anywhere else. Well, see, that's the thing. The colors are a really big deal, but not for like the normal working class people. It's not. Because I even had that conversation. I'm just like, girl, I'm a very colorful person. You know, she's just like, we don't care about those things. Like, that's not it. It's like, it's just a part of the fabric of the area. But it's not what you see in the movies, so to speak. But I was just like, okay, so this is a part of your culture. Thank you for letting me know. It's a no for me. Dahlia said, I like a teddy bear man. Me too. Someone who has amazing. Oh, girl. I was about to be like, now, wait a minute. This is not Nikki.Star TV after dark. That's why you got to continue to read on. Yeah. Makes a good barbecue. Oh, yes. Amen. But come on, but that is Dahlia. Dahlia saved. But when I read that, I was like, oh, wait a minute. Miss Froshika said them church mothers will get you married to their no good sons and nephews and expect you to be like, oh, yeah, absolutely. Thank you for adding in long suffering like them. Absolutely. Guard down. They will be at everything. They will be at everything. It does not matter. And I'm like, don't y'all have certain restrictions? Not for Philly Muslims. There are no. My one cousin, he is always backsliding because he always eating pork. It's just a different form of Islam. Like it's a different sect. I'm telling you, I feel like there absolutely should be Islam, but then it also needs to be, are you a Philly Muslim? Because they are a different breed of Muslim, and I love it. I love it. That funeral was hilarious, y'all. Absolutely hilarious. When he did the altar call, I was just like, why? And I'm like, who gonna get up and give their life to the Lord? Oh, I love that crazy city. I love that crazy city. As I said, that's a lie for a membership. That's a membership live, not gripping with Jesus. Lord. And even that is a task. Even that. Because he always just like, oh, do it got pork in it? Boy, you've been eating them burgers all day. Boy, get out of here. He's always like scammed into eating pork. Like, oh, I know this was pork. You know this food was made with you had a whole plate. Now after you ate the whole plate, this had pork in it, the plate clean. Boy, get out of here. Get out of here. You know this family cooked with pork. Everybody big. You know. Don't play. Don't. On rules. On rules. I love it. Dahlia says, my condolences, Nikki, but that's hilarious. I wish I was a fly on the wall that day because, wow, Pastor bold as hell for shooting his shot on Jesus' behalf. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. But the repast was iconic. The repast was iconic. Oh, yes. But it's Philly Islam. It's different. It's different. Anyway, Star Fam, we have been on here for over 3 hours. That's why I always give my disclaimer in the beginning, because we are just destined to have a good time. But let y'all get out of here so I can put the timestamps in this video. Look out for, I might be doing it. See, this is the thing. I may try a Saturday Night Live because we haven't done one for a while. But the last one I did, it wasn't a lot of people on. So I'm just like, I don't know if I want to take that risk. But there are some shows that I want to talk to you guys. Like I want to talk about the Housewives with you guys before Monday. So I'm going to see. We're going to figure it out and see if that's doable. If not, I'll either see you Sunday or Monday. Yeah, this was a good lie. You know what? Because I remember y'all wanted to do girl chat, but I was just like, I don't know if I want to do it like that. So my first membership might be a girl chat live. That might be something I'll do. Thank you so for being here. We all needed this. I'm glad that we got to just have some fun together on a Friday. Yes, have a good night, friends. Dahlia, thank you for being a comedic relief tonight. Yes, this is the thing. Mama Star is out of town, so this is all depending on my mom being available. She's going to be back in the next few days. So if we don't do it on Monday, we're going to do it on Tuesday. So yes, thank you all for being here. This was fun. Yeah, I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna try girl chat for membership because I want everybody to be comfortable expressing and not be like the whole world is going to see this. So that might be something fun. It'll be a girl chat. It won't be Nikki After Dark. But if you coming, girl. But yeah, that'll be something. Oh, the recipe is in the chat? Where? I don't see it, Kimberly. Can you write it in the comments? That might be easier for me. Like when this video is done, because the comments go so fast. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to catch it. Can you just write it in the chat? Can you write it in the comment section? Or if not, just send it to me on Instagram. K Press said, Nikki, which areas in LA? The white guys I see just stare at the floor. Studio City, Culver City. Where I get the most traction? Santa Monica for some reason. Oh my God. Venice and Malibu. Venice and Malibu. Heavy. Heavy. That's what you're looking for. Heavy. Now listen, they're surfers, so the hygiene might be a little off. But you gonna get the white man worship you looking for, child. Venice and Malibu. Venice and Malibu. So yeah, I can't find it, Kimberly. So if you, oh, it's a link. Okay, you're going to put it in the comments. Thank you so much. That'll be easier for me because I can just find it right away. But thank you all so much for joining me tonight. I will probably see you if, I don't know, I feel like what is the weather going to be like on Saturday? Make sure you thumbs up the video. Thumbs up. Oh, it's going to be 83. I'm going to be outside. Don't count on me. I'm going to be outside, child. It's going to be 83. Yeah, I'm going to be outside. We'll see. Just, hover over my channel this weekend because there might be a pop-up live. We will see. I love you guys. Thank you all so much. Do what you got to do. You'll find it out here. I promise you. Listen, if I wanted it, I would have been married. Not for me, but it is for somebody else. And I love that for you. E for Empathy says, thanks for remembering to hit the like. Good night, y'all. Thanks, Nikki. Good night. See you soon. Bye. Okay, we got to get the After Dark is coming, or the membership girl chat is coming.